Well, in quite interesting news, it turns out that House Republicans, our very old House Republicans, have blocked Democrat-led effort to force the release of the Epstein files to the public. Just the other day, Thomas Massey and others were talking about the possibility of having Ghislaine, or as we called her on here, Ghislaine, testify before Congress about all of the boys that porked those girls that she apparently trafficked. Well, the Gateway Pundit reports from Jim Hoft that Republicans were asked whether or not there should be congressional interest, and like Congress loves to do, they decided to vote against the will of their constituents, reminding me, if the people don't have any influence over our government officials, if what we want doesn't occur, and if what happens in our congressional seats is what they want, then do we really live in a republic? Is this actually a democracy? Do we have a representative institution? And the answer to that question, of course, is hell to the no, no, to the no, no, no. I don't know. That's my version of black music. Anyway, might as well listen to some black music tonight because we're living in a shithole of a country. Am I right? It's like Compton, but it's all 50 states and we have to live through it every day. My name is Elijah Schaefer. We have a great show for you guys today talking about so many insane developments. We are live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Don't forget to like this video. Please do that, honestly. If you haven't thought about it already, subscribe or follow wherever you are. And remember, at the end of every show, we do have a special segment for subscribers only on Locals, ElijahSchaefer.locals.com. Let's start the show. My name is Elijah Schaefer, and usually we start the show with a man going down under the desk right next to me. Joining me today to talk about these stories and so much more. That was a bad look. That was actually really crazy. I swear I was plugging in my headphones. Welcome back, the founder of Snowflake News. Tell us who you are, why you're here.
The things you got to do around here to get a raise. Yeah, Michael Hennessy of Snowflake_news, also a Rift contributor. Just happy to be here. I know we got a lot of stories to jump into. Looks like we're stuck with Epstein again and leading down the Israel road, but for some reason it always goes that way. So,
Yep. It's Epstein every single day for like the past week, isn't it?
Yeah, so tell us who you are, why you're here.
Yeah, my name's Sarah Stock. I'm a contributor here at RiftTV, and I'm here because I'm paid to be here.
That's actually not true. She's forced to be here. We don't usually pay our contributors. That's exactly. And I'm just kidding. That's just the previous networks I've worked with. Anyway, speaking of the devil, joining us tonight for the first time. She was supposed to be here yesterday, but then there was inclement weather, which is absolutely a horrible thing. But you bring the sunshine and the smiles. We all love her. Ladies and gentlemen, tell us who you are, why you're here.
Hi, I'm Anna Perez, and I'm now a Rift TV contributor. And and I was stuck traveling yesterday for the whole day, basically. But I'm also a writer, and you could find me at Wrong Think Anna on Twitter. And excited to be here. I was forced to be here, actually. So I will openly state that I was blackmailed.
We blackmailed her to come. In fact, let's talk about this. I mean, this is actually kind of getting crazy what we're talking about here. I'm not entirely happy. One of the things that I know it's happening, it's kind of crazy. Is this this real? Did they just start the show themselves too? I guess it is. This is my old channel here. Alex Stein. They only have a few hundred people watching. That's crazy. Anyway, no, it's just crazy. We used to do like 10,000 live viewers minimum a night on that channel. So it's just like kind of crazy.
How many does it have?
Right now, like 316.
No more prime time. It's just on the decline with Alex Stein.
Well, that's like 350,000 subscribers. That's like, you should have more people watching. That's all I'm saying. But I'm actually not speaking any poorly about it. I wonder if that channel's shadow banned. It might be.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, we're a new channel.
Your old channel was shadow banned.
Well, it wasn't just shadow banned. They destroyed it. They deleted all the content off of it. So it's like, there's nothing we really do about that. All right. I want to talk about this. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble, we do want to talk about this. We are a brand new show. We're a brand new channel. We appreciate those of you guys who do continue to watch and support us. But we got to get into the story for today because it's like, damn it, how much bullshit are we dealing with when it comes to the Epstein stuff? Like, I feel like Trump keeps telling everyone, just drop it, let it go. Don't talk about it anymore. And you're seeing the sycophants, go around and say the same narrative. Oh, just drop it, let it go. But I want to drop it, right? This is like, I want to drop this and I want to let it go. But I feel like the woman in the argument now where I'm like, I'm not going to drop it. I'm not going to let it go. Because this is not an argument over why we were 5 minutes late to a friend's wedding.
They're the ones being the woman.
Predators.
They're pulling a gaslight gatekeep girl boss on us. So it's like, it's not really us being the woman for asking them to come clean.
True. But listen to this. It turns out here in this story, I just want to read the details here because it is jaw-dropping. And when Jim Hoff, when Jim Hoff himself is kind of like saying, hey, maybe Trump, is not doing the right thing. That's pretty crazy because Jim is like all sold out for Trump. This is a pro-Trump organization. And they're like, hey, this is not good. So in a jaw-dropping move late Monday, House Republicans once again slammed the door shut on transparency, voting 7-5 in the Rules Committee to block Representative Ro Khanna's amendment that would have forced Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to publish all Epstein-related files publicly. Last week, Representative Khanna announced that he will introduce an amendment on Tuesday, forcing House to vote to release the full trove of Epstein-related files to the public. Now, the same party that spent years stonewalling investigations, blocking the release of Epstein's client list, and downplaying his vast connections to the global elite is now suddenly pretending to care about transparency. Jeffrey Epstein was a monster, but his real ties were to the Democrat elite. I don't know if that's exactly true, though. We do know there was a lot of Republican elite that were involved in this.
Yeah.
I just want to remind you that, Republicans are not inherently good people. And that's sort of the lie that people tend to hold on to. But Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's Lolita Express at least 26 times, rubbing elbows with a pedophile financier. Why are the Epstein files still hidden? Who are the rich and powerful beings protected? Connor wrote on Saturday. And on Tuesday, I'm introducing an amendment to force a vote demanding the full Epstein files be released to the public. The speaker must call a vote and put every Congress member on record. He continued saying, will the House allow a vote on Tuesday on the Khanna amendment demanding the full release of the Epstein files? We jump into this with Anna, Sarah, and with Michael Hennessy. We're talking right now about the Epstein files were about to be released. They went before a vote on a committee for Congress. It has now left the White House and went into the people, right? This is at the People's House is what we know the White House was called. And then we went into the People's Chamber, which is the representative chamber. Now, I got to tell you, I don't know if they were too busy having anal sex with each other. I know they were doing that last year. That was a big thing in the Chamber of Secrets, as we call it. But
I just watched that movie.
Well, I hope you don't mean the movie that I'm referring to.
Not that movie.
Okay.
Talking about Harry Potter.
Because we just watched the beginning of that one at the start of the show, if you know what I mean. You saw the head go down. No, but I want to just jump into this. This is fucking absurd. I am absolutely livid. This is not even an overreaction. I am not being a reactionary. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Every American polled, in every independent poll, in every Democrat or Republican-led poll that I've read, from Gallup all the way down to YouGov, says they want the files released and they want accountability. And so what do our representatives do? They do what they've been doing for years and years and years. Like I said, when they're not having sex with each other in the chambers, they're doing the only other thing they like to do. It's not fuck each other, it's fuck the American people over. And I'm sorry for being crass. I know we're not supposed to curse a lot on this show, but if there's a time to curse, it's when people are covering for pedophiles.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of frustration. I have the same feeling like the rest of America. We're getting sick and tired of it. The way that they're pretty much, as Sarah mentioned, they're gaslighting us. They're bringing us in multiple different directions. First, it was, the files are being released. They're on Pam Bondi's desk. Then you have Trump come out saying, I can't believe we're still talking about this. Then it became the Democrats are actually, they put everything together and it's just a big scheme to make the Republicans look bad. And now reports are even saying that Trump has been reaching out to influencers and asking them to not report on the whole Epstein thing, to kind of let it go. So that's why we're seeing a lot of conservatives now on social media that are coming out and saying, okay, guys, let's just be done with this. Let's trust the administration. But unfortunately, I do not trust the administration right now. So it's something that we have to look into. Crimes were committed, especially against children. So we need to go ahead. We need to get this figured out and line up the wood chipper.
Yeah, and they're kind of looking for every excuse in the book to not release it. And that's what's so frustrating is before it was that they didn't actually have everything put together in a, I guess, digestible way that the American people could see it. And now they're saying, well, we want to protect the victims. It's like a new excuse every time. And usually when that happens, it's because they're looking for reasons to continue convincing us that it's okay that they withhold this information. And you brought up the fact that, this is obviously like a uniparty problem where they're not really, or the administration's problem, but it's also a uniparty problem because you have the left that wants to release it to make Trump look bad. They're saying that they're trying to help with transparency. That's what's going on with Democrats. They're using this for a political reason. And then you have the Trump administration that legitimately won't do what they said that they would do. And this is why a lot of MAGA supporters are so upset with Trump. And this speaks to the very problem that a lot of people were raising the alarm on, which is the whole influencer administration that we have right now, because that is exactly what the Trump administration is. They filled the cabinet with influencers. They have all these connections to right-wing media, and everybody said that was so based and so great for so long. Is it though? Because now he's reaching out and telling people, or the administration is reaching out to people on the right saying, oh, just don't talk about this. Sorry, but that's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I honestly kind of agree with that. The whole influencer cabinet is just like, it's so unserious to me. It's like, why does the right have to be so corny like that? You know what I mean? Like the left, it's like, oh, there's this person who, I mean, of course, not in every case. Like we have like Obama, who was like a community organizer and things like that. But it's like, generally, they do kind of value a little bit of prestige. They value people who have experience in what they're doing. And it's like you have someone like Dan Bongino. It's like, I don't think he ever worked in government before, did he? And it's like, yeah, he talked about politics on his show, but how much real life experience is that just like looking at things on social media? Like, I wouldn't think I'm equipped to run for Congress or something because I talked on a show. Like, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit silly. Someone like Trump makes more sense because he's obviously, he's a much older guy. He's dealt with the real world for long enough. He's a very successful businessman. So I feel like that's a little bit of a different situation. But when it comes to these guys who are just like these like podcasters or whatever, like I don't really know if I want them in charge of the FBI, to be honest. Yeah. It's kind of unserious. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
And that's the thing about the right, and I will say this as somebody who's worked in right-wing media for quite a number of years. You know, they say that they want to replace the mainstream media. They want to be the main source of information for the American people. And that's a great goal to have. And it's great that, you know, there's an opportunity to replace the lying mainstream media that, or rather the mainstream media that was not completely honest with a lot of their reporting. And a lot of American people obviously are frustrated with that. And you know, several polls reflect that. However, you can't replace it with something that's dysfunctional or worse or just as controlled by the government, because even though it's quote on our side or on the conservative side, if that's your perspective, it's still not ideal. There should be a standard, to your point. There should be like prestige. There should be an understanding that like there are certain things that aren't okay. Like you can't just collude with the government, and the media should not be colluding together to stop certain information from getting out there.
Yeah, and that's kind of the irony of the right always talking about like independent media, and they're like, oh, X is fully independent, and this is like, we have freedom of speech on there, and look at all these independent podcasters. Like, dude, they're literally just like equally in bed with the Trump administration as like Fox News is, or you know what I mean? It's like,
well,
it's
a Jewish shit show.
Yeah,
it's like really what it is. That's what we're seeing is an administration that's like a home loan in 2008. You know what I mean? It's like get some financier who thinks that they can trick God by changing the light bulb in their refrigerator so it doesn't go out on Saturdays. It's like well, that's not really Then they're like, oh, we can also trick the people by changing the numbers on their loans, and it's like we'll repackage a bunch of C and D loans and call them AAA loans, and then we'll end up basically guaranteeing that nothing bad's going to happen. Well, what could go wrong giving a loan to Eduardo Ramirez for $800,000 for a 2-bedroom house in Watts, California? And then that's basically what's happening here. It's like, what could go wrong when you put a bunch of dual citizen, dual allegiance fools that have no dedication to your country? Something's wrong when like Avi Yemeni of Rebel News, when Rebel News itself, which is Canadian, is like, you can just predict what these people are going to say. It's like, oh, Trump is doing the right thing here. Yeah, we really should worry about Epstein. And it's like, Avi, number one, you're Australian. Shut the fuck up, okay? Number two, you're not even Christian. You're Jewish. You think Jesus is in manure. I don't want to hear your opinion, okay? You're in a cult.
Well, he was also in the IDF.
That's what I was going to be number three. Number three, you literally killed Palestinian children and admitted it from what I saw, okay? It's like, you're not really a very good source when it comes to whether we should protect Israel or not. And this is not even to be anti-Semitic or anything, what I've really seen is the argument has come down to right now. This is the split on the right wing entirely. It's just that there are people who are dual citizens or evangelical Zionists who want to protect Israel more than they care about the truth Americans are protecting these kids. And then there are people who care about America, the truth, and protecting these kids. And if you want to protect the kids, or you love America, or you want the truth, they will slander you. They will call you anti-Semitic. They will call you obsessed with the Jews. And you go, no, I'm not obsessed with the Jews. I'm obsessed with one right now. And his name is Jeffrey Epstein. And he is a pedophile, and we want accountability. And so the fact is, if you're telling me, you stupid bitch, you're telling me, Avi, I'm sorry, I'm very, 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 very upset at him right now. If you're telling me, dude, you're telling me right now that if you want accountability against pedophilia, which is a very serious crime and very serious, that makes somebody anti-Jewish, when you have the Ministry of Combating Anti-Semitism saying
So he's
that
he's
it's
saying
anti-Israeli.
if you're anti-pedophilia, you're anti-Jew.
So what
Yes.
does that say about Jews, guys? What does that say about?
It's not good. It's not,
Crazy.
it's not a good statement. I'm saying it's bad PR.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
is.
good PR, and it makes me angry because it's like, you're telling me that now wanting accountability for a pedophile ring is anti-Israel. This is getting to a point of absurdity to where Americans, I'm going to just say what Tucker said, we are fed up. And if people can hear the anger in my voice, you can hear the frustration, it's because we have a rogue government. And if they're not serving us, who are they serving? That's a good question.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're all fed up. We're sick and tired of it. You know, it's crazy what the administration's doing. I mean, you touched on it perfectly. You know, what they do is anytime that you go against anything that has to do with the Israeli government, they say you're anti-Semitic. If we're talking about politicians getting money from AIPAC, well, you're just being anti-Semitic. If we talk about the ADL and say how that they're limiting free speech and really putting a stop to people, that's anti-Semitic. And question Iran war. We don't want to go to war with Iran, you know, so what? You don't support Israel, you're anti-Semitic. And now pedophilia. I mean, how much more are we going to go down a rabbit hole where everything's just, you know, anti-Semitic? What they're doing is they're just using these words. We've seen similar with the left. The right does it as well. You use certain kinds of terms to demoralize people, to make people feel guilty about speaking the truth. And that way they can try to silence you and stop the information from coming out.
But aren't they kind of telling on themselves when they say that? Because they're telling you, they're saying that they're basically, when they call it anti-Semitic, like your mind wasn't even there to begin with. You weren't thinking it had anything to do with Jews at all. But then when they start, or, you know, in theory, but then when they say that, you're like, oh, so you're telling me this does have to do with Jews. Okay, well, then let's go down, let's expand that, you know, and then they're like, it's like they're telling on themselves that they are protecting Jews, they are protecting Israel when they call what you're saying anti-Semitic. Like, had they not said that, you wouldn't have even been on to them. That's the irony in all of it. And the other thing I wanted to say before we move on from this was, it's really disheartening to see that the Trump administration is working so hard to block this information from coming out, primarily because they made this a cornerstone of their campaign from day one, or not day one, but very early on. I forget at one point. Remember he premiered Sound of Freedom at Mar-a-Lago a long time ago.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like he said, this is going to be our priority for the campaign moving forward. Well, whatever happened to that?
It's a show. And I'm going to tell you guys this. As we go into this, I want to remind you that what people are saying right now is that he took money from donors that are on the list, and this, like, he owes them their freedom. It's like a tax, right? Like a sin tax. It's he owes them. However, I want to remind you that there is ways to show that you still don't support pedophiles. By the way, we know that we've been sponsored by this brand, Red Pill Threads, which has been fantastic. Of course, we do have a dress code on the show. So usually we either you have to wear something business casual, business professional, or as you see here on Hennessy, you can wear merch, which is absolutely fantastic. But most importantly, you can also wear Red Pill Threads t-shirts. Check out this one. I do like this one a lot. It's the Dead Pedos t-shirt. We should ship some of these to the White House. Maybe they could learn about this. It says dead pedophiles cannot, what does that say? Oh, reoffend. Sorry, I can't read right now. Can you go show that real fast? Yeah, so check that out. You got the shirt here. There's so many of these like cool shirts. They're like actually could kind of get you in trouble, which is actually what I like because I like getting into trouble. I always tell people are like, are you a green flag or a red flag? I go, I'm a yellow flag. And they go, what's a yellow flag? It means that I am toxic intentionally. And it also means that I get into trouble, but I feel bad about it sometimes. But however, they have, if you're like me and you do need to remember that Christ is King, you can get the Christ is King t-shirt. We do need to remember that. There's also like the Bohemian Grove reference, a bunch of Christian stuff, which I think is pretty fantastic. And there is like some, let's just say, That's pretty serious right there. What does that say? That's a cartoon, obviously, but what does that say? I'm not effing dying for Israel. Okay, what if
Oh, I love that
Yeah,
shirt.
that's-
I need
Amen.
that.
Well, you can get those at redpillthreads.com, promo code RIF for 10% off. That's REDPILLTHREADS.com. Use your promo code RIF for 10% off at checkout. Reminding you, they do fit true to size. They gave me a large, because I said if they were big, to give me a size down. And there was like a super muscle tee. So it's like, you don't, like, it's like, it did. It made me look buff. So if you want to look buff, order a size down. If you want to just be comfortable, order your true to size. All right. I want to play this clip here, particularly from Trump, because Trump is saying, by the way, that the Epstein files now are not real, that they're made up Democrat hoax. Listen.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this around the table. I don't want to spend too much more time on this Epstein things. We'll be covering this every day. But the chances that Comey and the previous administration did bug the files is probably 100%. And I'm not being MAGA-tard on that. I mean, they definitely, it's 100% the fact that Comey's daughter, as you were talking about yesterday, Hennessy, is involved in the prosecution. And here's the deal. Was it you, Ed, that was telling me that the entire reason, this is all Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was what did she do? She did something for the Trump administration. That's why she got the cabinet pick. And this was all kind of orchestrated before. What was that?
Pfizer. It's all about Pfizer.
But be careful then. But like I'm saying that, it's like
Very
this
specifically.
is like the USS Liberty moment. Remember that one on Timcast? Be careful. No, I meant just for the so they don't pull the episode. But can you speak in like a little bit of like cryptic language so we can know what you're saying? You can put your camera on too. I think it's no, it's on. I don't. It's on.
Focus, yeah. I would say so I don't get you banned. Don't get you banned from anything. My good friend. I would say that it's all about the specific lobbying money. The specific lobbying money is centered around a certain pharmaceutical firm that may or may not have gotten the monopoly contract for the Operation Warp Speed. And I do think that when you do a couple $100,000 worth of work, whether it be legal work, whether it be lobbying work, or just the regular skullduggery that goes on in D.C., you have a certain degree of loyalty, right? Some might say dual loyalty. I don't know.
Wait, you're kidding me. Are you saying right now that the same people involved in the Epstein cover-up were also involved in Operation Warp Speed? I will be damned to find that out. So, like I mentioned, we try not to curse a lot, but I mean in this show, I typically do curse when I'm angry, also when I'm happy, in the morning, in the night. I just curse all the time, actually. But I do have a hard time holding it back. I think there's a lot of you guys out there that know, even though you try to be, a holy person or whatever, you cannot help but swear at what's going on right now, because that is the level of derangement. They say Trump derangement syndrome. Right now, Trump is deranged. And there's a clip I want to play. He knows that he effed up on this because they're trying to say that Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec, Charlie Kirk, these people were all anti-MAGA just about a week ago. And we know that then Charlie and all these people are coming out now and they're saying, no, we need to move on. We actually, Trump's right. We need to move on. So this is what I want to say is either A, they're being told something that we don't know and they're being sincere, or they are they're sellouts. And I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. That's why I invited Dinesh D'Souza, who also claimed that as well, to come onto the show and to speak to us and explain to us why we should stop caring about the Epstein files. And you know what? Dinesh accepted. So he will be on the show tomorrow. And he's going to try to explain to us why we should not care anymore about the Epstein files.
I didn't even know about this.
Yes. So Dinesh D'Souza will be explaining that to us. That being said, I do want to remind you, that is like, so meaning about the benefit of the doubt, so I want to get your opinion. If I thought that they were just bad intentioned liars, then they probably wouldn't accept the invitation to come on and to talk about it. But the fact that he accepted it, is willing to discuss it, have a logical explanation on why, makes me at least say, let's give him a chance. Let's talk to them. I'm not flipping right now. I'm not saying we're going to get rid of it. But that's what I want to know from him. If he just says, look, there's something you don't know that will cause more problems if we release it. That's all they need to say. It's going to cause more issues.
But
It's
what
not
could
going to
it be?
protect
Like,
people.
like, what's an example? Like, what could that be?
What could that be? Everyone in the government is implicated, and it like could cause a civil war, or there's some, or like I said, like there's in the documents they edited stuff to make it seem like people committed crimes they didn't, and saying like, hey, there's been actual edits put in, and there's been deep fakes, and we're trying to figure out what was going on. Like if they could just be honest about it and say, here's the reasons why we're not releasing it. I'm not going to be satisfied, but at least I wouldn't be cursing on my show. That's all I'm saying. I'd be like, okay.
That's true. Yeah. Like, I mean,
wouldn't be
who knows?
satisfied.
Yeah, who knows? I just wish they would tell us, right?
Well, the thing is, too, they've changed their reason so many times, and that's what makes it so sketchy. Like, even if they were to give us a reason, is that, like, why are we to believe that? Because they've thrown so many things at the wall, and usually when people do that, it's because they're trying to figure out what's going to stick. And nobody seems to be buying their what they're selling, basically. And it's even worse when you see some of these MAGA shills just, repeating it. I mean, I don't trust these people. I maybe you guys disagree, but I don't trust Jack Posobiec or any of these people who are like, well, we should ignore it now, or like they're just kind of like, walking away from it. And that's not even for any personal reasons. It's just like these are the same people who kind of towed the line for him in other aspects as well. And it's just like, why would this be any different? Because you're going to toe the line for him anyway. So you don't even have to have a reason to. Like, it's not like they're ever going to come out and say Trump did something wrong or that the Trump admin did something wrong. So it's like we have no reason to believe them.
But Jack is. I'm just saying, you had a point here.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, as Sarah mentioned, what could happen, the establishment could come crumbling down, but these are not the type of people. If they are involved in child molestation, doing things with children, this all deserves to be exposed. What happens is they get these people, they hold the information against them, and then they go ahead and they can get them to, pretty much pass any bill they want, push any law that they want. And the one thing, too, that Trump's doing is right now he's kind of saying, this is the Democrats that want to put this out. They've messed with it. And is there a chance they've messed with it? Yes, there's a chance they messed with it. But
I'd say they did mess with it, but that's not an excuse.
It's
You just
not
need to
an
tell the
excuse.
public what they messed with. That's it.
But
Yeah, exactly.
the Trump administration themselves were pushing for, the Epstein files be released. When the Democrats were in office, they were giving them a hard time as well. I know we actually have a clip that kind of goes over that. But you can see where they were themselves using that as a tool, saying, elect us. We need to make sure that, there's justice for these children. We need to make sure that, everything is done right. But unfortunately, now they're in office. It's a different story. But as you can see here.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
Release the list.
seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go, ever. Ever.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, you see it there firsthand, exactly what I was talking about. You can see how the administration was pushing for it, saying that, I can't believe these files aren't released. They're coming after my father, but they're not going after Jeffrey Epstein. But now when they actually have the chance, what they're doing is they're gaslighting us. They're lying to us, and they just want us to move on, but we're not going to move on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because you guys were bringing up Jack Posobiec, and it seems like he's been keeping them accountable.
That's
with
what
this.
I was saying. I said I think he's been fine.
Yeah, okay. I thought you guys were saying that, and I was like, I don't want to be saying that because that's not true. And I just scrolled through his feed to make sure. I'm like, no, he's been trying to keep them accountable with this, and I think he's been consistent with it.
Yeah, no, I want to correct the record there. I didn't realize that. I thought you had listed him in the list of people who were in favor of it. But
no, I was saying that they were trying to say he was anti-MAGA, but it's like because he's holding them accountable. But I was gonna say Charlie right now and Dinesh are the two that reneged. and went back and kind of said like, oh, well, you know, we got to drop it. And I want to play this video here from it because like, I know there's a lot of real anti, you know, Charlie people, but I'm not an anti-Charlie person. And it's like, look,
I am.
Are they currently blocking me? Are they am I on their speaker bureau and I'm technically sanctioned to speak at schools? Yes. Are they blocking me, all the requests for me to speak at schools right now? Also, yes. It's a very weird thing that's been going on behind the scenes, by the way. I don't think Charlie has anything to do with it personally. But obviously, you know, there was never a problem with me speaking at schools before October 7th of 2023. And then now there's been problems. They won't let me speak anymore. And I always remind people, yeah, it's a kind of annoying because there's a lot of money in that. And a lot of colleges and schools get really upset because they put together entire events, try to get the funding, and then they get blocked. And it's like kind of sad to punish, you know, speakers for having different ideas and thoughts. And then to go to see at the recent conference, even with all the policing of trying to keep certain people from speaking, they still couldn't control the narrative against Israel at their own conference. I do like Turning Point. I have no issue with them. However, I do think that Charlie is not just, I think he's just playing the long game, you know, in my personal opinion. I think he's just knows that he has political aspirations, I think, ambitions. I think it's like a lot of people where he's like, it's not worth it for this. I'm not going to alienate myself from the Trumplican side of the Republican Party because the Republican Party is Trump. It is his children. They are the future of the Republican Party. It's J.D. Vance. It's Peter Thiel, you know, and we know it's obviously not Curtis Yarvin anymore because now he's working on the America Party with Musk. But listen to this.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly.
Charlie, they were young girls, so it wasn't balls that were in their hands. It was something else, okay? I just want to clarify. Get the gender right of the victims, please. It's like, but I mean, you know, what a bad expression to talk about kitty diddlers. They have balls in their hands. You're like, okay, sir, I didn't know they did that too. You know what I mean? Now it's getting worse.
I just have a problem with people who just, they don't have any nuance to their, like they clearly take their cues from somebody else. He's clearly getting his talking points from someone higher up who's telling him to shut up about this. And even if he weren't, that would still display your incuriousness about this, incuriosity rather, about this topic. And I don't know what's worse, because at this point, it's like, you should be questioning these things. That's your job. You're a podcast host. You're, you know, somebody who runs a large organization. It's your responsibility, or it should be in theory, to be looking into these issues and showing curiosity about it. But, you know, and this is, like we said, an issue that we've been talking about for a long time in conservative circles. So I do take issue with that approach. And that's an approach he's taken on a multitude of topics, including Israel, for a very long time. I think Turning Point USA could be great. I don't think it is great because they do a lot of things wrong, like the whole Israel issue. They've been covering that up for a while. And a multitude of other topics that I don't even think we have time to get into on this show. But, you know, the way that young women are portrayed in the organization, like there's a lot of different things that I take issue with. And it's very clear that they're towing sort of the mainstream line here. And I don't like that.
You know what? I have to say that too. Charlie, how dare you just find attractive women and put them in front of the camera and on stage on just for clicks and stuff.
No.
I am sick and tired of this.
No, I have no problem with that. I'm saying, okay.
I'm sick of your tactics. Okay? We want
fat, ugly girls. That's what we want.
Bring out the Democrats. I want to read a couple. Someone even said Elijah's Jew thick. I don't know what that even means. Okay, but anyway, a couple super chats here as we're going along. Reminding you, we are now monetized on YouTube. It's a brand new channel. Someone was like, "Dude, this channel's getting censored. It's only getting a few thousand views a video." That's really good. It's a brand new channel. I'm actually shocked that it's working as well as it is. And now we are competing with our very own Sarah Stock, who has her channel as well that you can follow. To see who can gain subs the slowest. I'm just kidding. We need you guys to subscribe because we really do want to grow the channels, and we haven't really done the push that we need. We haven't been going on to too many shows. I just got a booking agent for us, by the way, to get us on more shows. But nice. To try to promote the channels. But anyway, so make sure you subscribe. It really helps us out. We're word of mouth kind of people, so we're growing this from the ground up, and we don't have the big Zio bucks to pay for the YouTube ads to grow the channels quickly, like with Brett Cooper and all that stuff. We don't have that the Blaze has, and to buy the views and the ads. We don't have that money. So we need you to share the links like manually. I'm being completely serious. That being said, $2 Down to Earth said, you guys need a mute button for Sarah whenever she has a bad take. Everybody knows Dan was Secret Service and NYPD, definitely qualified. AOC was a bartender in Is the Future of the Democrat Party. Prestige? What do you think about that? I didn't even read that before, so I didn't even scan
I actually forgot. I knew that, I swear, but I actually did forget that. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's true. But I was more talking about this general thing where we just, in the right wing, kind of prop up these influencers and pretend like if you have the best takes, you're also experienced and you know what you're doing in government. And I don't necessarily think that's true. And yeah, that happens on the left too. Like I already said that with Obama, and AOC is another good example. But it's also like the left does kind of value credentials a little bit more, which is it's cringe in some ways, because it's like, now we know you can't trust credentials in a certain way because academia has been hijacked by the left and, even like the FDA and all these different things. But it's still like the right shouldn't be just like throwing
we don't
that
have a standard.
We shouldn't be trying to be like, oh, we're these rednecks with no standards and blah, blah, blah. We're just going to go live on land in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and,
like Democrats like this.
It's so gay. No.
Check this out. Democrats like this.
مقعي وعمر فاتح, State Senator, District 62, South Minneapolis. هدي أجران خوف أمرير أتقاند أو أي دبات وكهي
so cooked. This is terrible.
وحن دين أوجيسينا يا برنامج عصب والله يراهدو Rental Assistance Program. Minnesota legislator واحد كود دالن إنان كوجو ليسنو إنان أوسو صارو شرع عصب.
Sounds like we're at a Pentecostal church,
But you gotta admit the point does stand. The left does value prestige a little bit more. They take pride in like having these different credentials. Like, yeah, the credentials are fake, but at one point they weren't.
Right.
And the right should be trying to take that back, right? We should be trying to infiltrate academia and all these different organizations, the media, all these things, and take back that prestige and make it mean something again. We shouldn't just be like I don't want to, like the whole like college is a scam thing from Charlie Kirk. It's like, no, I think bright young men with futures should go to college. Not everyone should, but don't tell these young men who could have a future in leading our country not to go to Harvard if they can. They should go to Harvard and change Harvard. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like communist to take that, to like have the opposite approach, which is like, yeah, they shouldn't go to college. We should all live in rural areas. We should just escape to the middle of nowhere. It's kind of a psyop to get, conservatives
like
out of the equation.
The whole libertarian psyop to say, I'm just going to live off the grid. And it's like, so that's why the country's falling apart, is because all the right wing decided to go live off the grid. And it's like, so now the left just runs everything. And it's going to stay like that unless we take it back.
Yeah, I mean, and going back to Epstein too, the one thing that they're trying to say now is I've seen a few of the senators come out and saying that we want to have an investigation where they put a team together and this team's going to investigate everything, and that's going to calm the American people down. But that really doesn't bring, I don't feel comfortable in that as well either. I mean, the people that they put in those positions, I mean, they could pretty much just give us the same BS, not release the files, drag this out as long as possible. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing. And I think the way they're doing it now is the reason they want to do that is they want to separate a little bit from Trump, because Trump's getting a lot of heat for not releasing the Epstein files, not providing the information and brushing it off. So I think that's what we're going to run into with this whole group that they're trying to put together now.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to, I feel like that super chat was really rude to Sarah, because I feel like you don't make bad points. Like, for instance, you're talking a lot about credentials of people, and I know that, there's one politician that's a Democrat that you really respect a lot. You've talked to me a lot about him, and I don't know
where you're going.
I know where you're going with this. I know exactly where
you've always told me, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna repeat what you said.
Love Gavin
the Democrats care more about credentials.
No, that's Elijah.
Like this guy.
Elijah loves it.
I don't know.
Kidding.
What are the 5 gross points cities? Well, look, I'm not here to
that's not where I thought.
I'm here to say that I'm going to fight for the people of Detroit. I'm going to fight for my Grosse Pointe and all of the Grosse Points and all of Taylor and every part of the 13th district. I'm just do this real quick. Grosse Pointe Park, Grosse Pointe Woods, Grosse Pointe Farms, and Grosse Pointe Jefferson. Okay. On your campaign filings, it says occupation. Yours says United States government. Aren't you employed by the people of the United States? Yeah, I am. Okay, you fix that one. Okay, and finally, you're getting nailed with this one. The beagles. You abandoned the beagles, left them to die in their cages at your pharmaceutical testing. See, look, I don't know.
Oh,
I know you love him, right? Well, I just wanted to say, Tristan, that the Democrats are really saying their best. So do you want me to keep bringing up great Democrats that have great credentials? Can you go to that face real fast?
It looks like a Halloween mask.
It does.
Like a rubber Halloween mask.
No, let's talk about the wig, though. The wig is crazy.
That's like, do you know that's
Crazy
what's his name? I
work.
think his name's Sri Thandar, right?
Shri
Thandar?
Yeah, something like that.
He's a congressman. That guy's in the United States government. He's running our country. So next time you
crazy.
look around and you're like, why
Jump
doesn't
scare.
what's going on here?
I don't
That's
think.
what's going
By
on.
the way, I don't even think he came to the U.S. until he was 30. Did you know that?
All right. That should be illegal to like be in
Bro's
office
like
after
3
that.
and 30 at
Yeah.
the same time.
Like
We got to be
crazy.
careful, though. Honestly, I just remind you on YouTube, they don't want you to attack anyone for their inherent characteristics. So I got to say this.
I'm attacking him for his choice
No,
to
I know.
come
No.
here.
I'm not even saying that. I'm not even bringing that
That
up.
was a choice for him to come to
I'm
our
not
country,
bringing that
so
up.
that's what I'm attacking.
No, I'm backing up your point, but I'm really glad. Bring him back on the screen. I'm really, really happy that the Democrats are in power in a lot of places because they obviously choose the most qualified and aesthetically pleasing individuals to lead our country, from Somalians to Indians. It's like, can we get more of that, please? It reminds me of this video. There's this one guy that makes like the best videos criticizing immigration, but it's like he just like goes to drive-thrus in Canada, like to Tim Hortons and stuff, and just like orders clearly simple things, and he just posts the response of the person, just the first response of the person on the
They're
other
always
side.
like, what?
Yeah, they'll be like, hello, and they'll be like, hello, and he'll be like, can I please have one Americano and a muffin, please? And it's always like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Huh? What? And it's like, oh my gosh. This is why I've been so pissed recently because everything in life's been, it's like that now. Everything's like Sri Thandar, whatever his name is.
Literally.
It's like, you have no idea what's even going on here. Like
The number of
yeah.
Haitians in South Florida, it used to be like it was mostly Hispanics, which is like, all right, like not ideal, but we deal with that. It's been the case for a while. Not to say that's a good standard to have, but anyway, now it's like Haitians. So it's just getting like darker and darker. Look, what's next? You know?
Next thing you know,
Like-
we'll have Somalians running for mayor. Okay, anyway, a couple other super chats. Farm friend Groiper said, Anna, can I get that follow back right now real quick? I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. I thought I should, I literally had an old co-host, the female, quit over the super chats. Okay.
Wow.
Because and then I literally
It's about to
I
be
used
me.
to have meetings. We'd have meetings. And it was like, Elijah, you need to like vet the super chats. And I'd always be like, why would you get into media if you're offended by your own audience sending you money?
No, you
That's
got to
a
be
good
able to
point.
roll with it. You got to just.
People
you know.
are sending you money, even if they're mean. I've always said this. Like, I'll read anything. If you send me $100
know what?
and you
It's
say a terrible thing about me, I'll just read it.
It's
'cause
actually
$100.
better if you act more offended because then they keep sending them.
Yeah, it's crazy. That being said, Charlie Kirk has been arrested for bad takes. I'm just kidding. Anyway, that was someone wrote that actually in the chat.
I
Bloodshot.
thought that was real for half
So
a
did
second.
I.
I was like, wait, what?
Bloodshot 567 said, "Welcome back, Anna, my Southern Aryan queen." We okay. Also, can we get some music, please? Do you know the music? Do you know the music right there? No. Do you know that's the top soundboard button on the top right hand side, up the square. One more. Yes, hit one of those. It's one of those. One over. There we go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who's going to be taking something off today. We usually have to take one article of clothing off. I think the article of clothing that we will take off today, I'm looking around, no one's wearing a jacket. This is very awkward. And Braden's the only one who's like so ridiculous to like take off his he like took off his shirt
Yeah.
and then got called a dad bod. $100. Can we get some, do you know how to do the confetti on there? I don't know. The confetti is the middle button. Let's do some confetti. He said, we need to deport about 100 million people, which is absolutely true.
That's a good point.
I would totally take off my shirt if I was not, if there weren't females on the show. But there've been so many
I'll
lawsuits
take off my
involved.
bracelet. How about that?
I feel like every show I've been involved in has just been involved in like so many lawsuits because like for some reason people get into media and they're like, it's like it reminds me of people who worked at Fox like complaining like, and it's crazy because it turned out he said I was only hired because I was hot. It's like, wow, you thought you didn't know that's you thought you were smart? Like it's It's like, I don't know, like, anyway. It was actually crazy, but it's like people joining the military and then suing the government for PTSD because a bullet scared them or something. You're like, hey, you're in media. This is like a gritty, shitty, kind of like obscene environment to work in, of like the worst dredges of society. It is like extremely violative of all of your privacy. It is there. There's no filters. You cannot be offended about people. You cannot. And the people that come in, they're like, this is what happens with right-wing media. They fail in other areas. So like right-wing media, anyone will accept me.
No, it's so true.
Then they come in and then they want liberal treatment. So they want to be treated like they're in a liberal environment. You're like, dude, you're literally with people who sell Chuck Norris water. They have no shame. You know what I mean? Like come on, brother. I've done it before. I sold Chuck Norris water on Gateway Pundit. That is not a joke. So
wait, what does that even mean?
I don't know.
It was his bath water.
It was water. It was a kick. I don't
It's
know.
like the soap for that one actress, but you get the Chuck
Sydney
Norris
Sweeney.
soap. Yeah.
All I was gonna say is it's like people come in and it's like, dude, that was so crazy. Like I remember that's we were talking about depositions. I'm getting more free because I think I'm like almost up on my NDA, but it was like it was like one of my favorite things.
Just
was
spill
like,
it all. It's
no, I never will. I'm not a girl. But on the deposition, one of my favorite things was like it said something. It was like, and then like when the show would end, he would make racist jokes and make dick jokes, and then the deposition guy goes, but didn't he also do that on the show before?
What I say, you do it the whole time.
And then it's like, yes, but what's the point? It's like, so what is the lawsuit then? You're saying you're trying to act like something secretly happened, and it'd be like, and then he would drink, and it was like, didn't they have
And then he would
bottles?
drink.
Didn't they? He's like, didn't. There was like literally exhibit. It was like, aren't these like 31 images of him drinking out of a bottle on air? It's like me like in the corner like drinking out of a whiskey bottle. It's like, you know that the things he does on air, if it's public and you know about it, then technically there's no like secret here. If you didn't bring up a problem about it, it's not like this secret behavior. It's like you're basically saying he did outside of the camera what he also did on the camera. And I always thought that was like a really weird thing to sue people over. Also, it was basically the end of one of the depositions was so funny. It was like, did you not know he ran a show called Slightly Offensive? Yes, but the things he said was offensive. Did you not voluntarily get into business with a guy whose show was called Offensive? Yes, but I was offended. So wasn't he technically doing his job well then? If you got offended on a show that was
No,
meant
but
to
it
offend people?
wasn't just slightly offensive though. It was
very
like,
offensive.
It was like actually just really offensive.
Yeah, it's true. Someone said no. I'm not going to read that. Okay, anyway.
I think I know what you just read.
Was it the? Okay.
No, we're not going to read it.
I'm reading it.
Also,
I'm reading
the
it.
Renegger said to show us your puffy nipples, but that wasn't what I was going to read. Someone was just talking about the painter. They're like, when we were talking about this, they're like, man, he was too kind to his enemies. So anyway, that's just what he was saying. All right, I want to jump ahead here onto some of this stuff too. You brought up, I think, another moment here about the Epstein stuff. One of those things that I want to talk to you about is. Where is this?
Well, I pulled up.
It's Dinesh, by the way.
Oh, okay, that one? Yeah.
Yeah. Dinesh says we need to move on as well. Here's what Dinesh said. By reminding you, Dinesh is coming on the show tomorrow to tell me why we need to stop talking about Epstein.
Does he live down here?
No, he's in Texas.
I'm going to talk about the Epstein files, and I'm going to make the case that even though there are unanswered questions about Epstein, it is in fact time to move on. Part of being on a political team is
Wait, what? Is that an edit, or did he actually just like do that transition?
There are some things that are important to you that are
edit.
less important to the guy that you've put in charge, who is trying to focus on things right in front of him. And so having a sense of perspective, having a sense of balance, having a sense of maturity, I think is more important even than getting to the bottom of what really happened.
Neglect
with
child
Jeffrey
molesters
Epstein.
and you're being mature. Is that pretty much
I'm
what
going to talk
what happened
about
there?
the Epstein files.
That's just crazy.
And I'm going to make the case.
Yes, we put that
that
person.
even though there are.
I'm sorry.
You're still just like playing the video like on your phone.
No, I'm trying to prevent a fire right now. No. So editorially, I'm going to screenshot this and send this to you and Mike and see if we can solve this right now in the middle of this.
What's that with the Marjorie Taylor Greene one?
It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
I gotta.
Don't worry, guys. I can take it from here.
All right, Sarah.
Yeah, that was crazy, but we'll be glad to have him on the show. I would say second favorite Indian of mine.
Second favorite. Who's the first?
Who's number
this
one?
guy over here.
Oh, true, Ed. Yeah.
But he's valid, right? That debate
Yeah.
with Nick, friendly.
Yeah.
What do you think?
With the Dinesh thing? I mean, they were kind of comparing it to the Candace debate, and he was at least like, debating in good faith, I would say. And I do like Dinesh. What I should say is I respect him. And I really like his documentaries. Like, he's done a lot for the conservative movement. So you can't really take away from that, though I disagree with him, obviously, on his stance on Israel. He kind of took the conning position. I didn't actually watch the whole thing, but from what I did watch, because I saw a lot of clips, that was kind of my takeaway. Like, he's kind of just like, somebody who's been in media for a while. He's done a lot of respectable work. And, regardless of his takes on certain things, I obviously disagree with him on the Epstein stuff too. He's just a respectable figure, I would say, overall.
Let me bring this up real fast. I want to tell you guys about something kind of crazy real fast. But we want to take a quick break. We're going to talk about what he thinks, and I know Henny has a good take here. But I do want to remind you that it is Crypto Week in the U.S. with tons of upbeat developments. Bitcoin is reaching record highs, and Trump is advocating for pro-crypto legislation in Congress, which could help blend digital assets more deeply into conventional finance. I want to highlight a company that might intrigue you, particularly if you're following crypto's growing role in mainstream finance. You've likely seen firms like MicroStrategy or Tesla adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, a tactic known as Bitcoin treasury strategy, which has grabbed headlines lately. Now, essentially, rather than hoarding cash, these businesses are actually using Bitcoin as a durable store of value or inflation shield. It's a major change in corporate reserve management. Here's the twist. Hyperbit Technologies, which I see as undervalued with massive growth potential, trades as Hype in Canada and HYPAF in the US, spelled HYPE in Canada and HYPAF in the US. They're pushing a similar yet distinct path. Instead of purchasing Bitcoin directly, they mine assets like Dogecoin, Litecoin, and more via efficient, renewable energy setups. This means that they're creating crypto as a core operation, embedding a natural treasury approach. Now, they're beyond mere speculation, constructing facilities, rolling out advanced mining equipment, and leveraging affordable hydroelectric power for eco-friendly profitability. By producing these assets themselves, they can retain, reinvest, or deploy them for growth, forming a self-sustaining funding system. This is a clever strategy as more firms seek to broaden their portfolios with digital assets. For investors, it provides a prime chance to tap into the sector without dealing with wallets, keys, or personal mining. They mine, acquire, and safeguard crypto, making them a well-rounded, diversified entity and a single stock for broad market access. The sector is changing rapidly, and U.S. Crypto Week underscores the rising institutional focus on such strategies. So explore Hyperbit Technologies, HYPE in Canada, or HYPAF. Trade it today. Links in the bio. There is a disclaimer, though, as trading is not guaranteed, and I've both won and lost a lot of money on stocks. So, of course, it's always volatile, and I don't want anyone to trade in the stock without also reading about the disclaimer about how stock market works. But this is just a company that's trying to raise awareness, and they're trying to raise money, crowdsource money, and become public. So it's kind of like a cool thing. And they particularly came out and said they're trying to work with right-wing people because they are a decentralized company. So they believe in off-grid stuff. Check it out. Links in the description. Go ahead. Henny was going to talk about what was going on with Dinesh.
No, I was saying with Dinesh, this one take I definitely have to not agree with him at all, because what he's saying is that we put Trump in office. We have to move on from the situation. He's trying to get things done. But it all goes hand in hand, because these people that we're trying to expose for what they've done, these are the same type of people that get blackmailed. These are the same type of people that are in the background pulling the strings, making decisions. So if we don't go ahead and take this head on, then we're just leaving those people in office to be blackmailed, to continue the corruptness. So it all comes together. I mean, just to say, let's move on and to be, mature about it. There's, being mature is actually standing up for children, protecting them, and making sure those who are evil are held accountable. So,
that being said, I wanted to read this. I know I actually wanted to read this. I just went to the locals chat. We are in locals, and I do want to remind you, when you're in locals, I'll often just read your guys' chats. That's why I was having you open it to kind of interact with them as well. Because if you guys are paying to be on locals, we want to make sure we're just reading your stuff throughout the time as well. We're going to get back to you guys. I asked you guys if you guys thought that we should just let it go. Beck Mech said, "Bring it up. Don't forget, but don't drag on forever about it, and mute Sarah." What?
Oh, they said Anna can stay.
I like that they're not even trying to kick me off. They just want me muted.
Anna can stay. She doesn't interrupt the men. And then Text 1 said, "Fuck no, don't let it go." And then Text 1 said, "He's Pajit, so he definitely can't be trusted." What the heck happened? Literally.
Then he writes, "Don't read my Pajit chat." That was.
Oh, you write that?
A little too late for that one.
Just pan to yourself real fast. Where's our producer?
Opportunity here.
Pajit is like such a good slur. That's so funny.
Yeah, it is funny, but also I was gonna say unironically. So Sarah gets a lot of there's like a lot of hate. Like I'll just see like random memes, a bunch of like brown people and like your faces in it. Yes, it is. I get I'm your boss and I get messaged all the time from people about crazy shit. Even just today, someone was accusing you of being like a CIA. Leonardo Joni was accusing you of being like a CIA plant or something like that.
Yeah, well, she's like old and.
Well, I like her. I mean, she's been on the show. She's like, but I don't know why. I'm not trying to bring up the beef. I'm saying I just always get this
It's
stuff.
one-sided, so it's not beef.
I've never seen you fight with her.
I don't, because I don't care.
I invited her on the show to beef it out. Though I was like, hey, do you want to just come on and
I don't invite the beef, but I was about to bring her on the show,
No.
and this was.
I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I don't care about the beef, but I just wanted to like monetize.
No, because I don't want people saying untrue things about our company.
Dude,
and
I
it's like well,
she just like I don't care because it's like one-sided, so it just makes her like jealous because she's like 20 years older than me and
What
like
is
a
she
mud
jealous
shark.
of?
Because she's 20 years older than me and a mud shark.
How do you know that?
Because she said it before. Like I don't know. It's public.
I like her though, but I like her, and I don't like the fact that she's being rude to you. I mean, being genuine, like not even from a business standpoint. It's like, hey, we're all working together, and I think like on our side, we don't need to be saying people are banging black guys at Turning Point conferences, or that people are like working for the CIA. When like I mean this respectfully, but like you can meet you in person. I just wanted her to meet you and be like, that person is not a CIA agent.
No, I like her too,
Wouldn't you
but
agree?
I mean, I'm like, I feel a little protective of Sarah because I see her as like, you know, she's a little younger than me, but like, I don't like when people come after you because Sarah, guys, stop being mean to Sarah. She's sweet, she's smart, and she's wonderful. So
Maximilian said
don't be
Sarah is
mean.
fresh. Sarah invites
No,
it though.
people-
Sarah invites it. She
No.
said yesterday that was bombastic, and
What?
I've like rarely been floored at people's comments, but like usually like so let's do some camera training on air. Like usually like you go into a show that you haven't been on, and they go like, hey, so like Elijah, tell us who you are, you're here, and you go, hey, my name's Elijah Schaefer. This is like me on Timcast is my example. I run a company called The Rift. We also just launched a brand new pharmaceutical company for men called Patriot RX. You can find Rift at rifttv.com and Patriot RX, everything you need in one-stop shop. A journalist and also a filmmaker. Thanks for having me on. So that's like, would you say that's a pretty good, what would you rate that? It's pretty good?
I was just reading the chat after what Anna
Would you say
said,
that's
and
good, though?
it kind of backfired. I missed
Wait,
it. I
what?
apologize.
No, are they
just-
really?
I
That
was
was
like,
such
let's
like that was like a woman thing to do. That was such like a mom
they
thing.
said-
Like,
said-
don't be mean to my kids.
Yeah, but listen.
That totally backfired in the
listen,
chat.
Do we know what
Okay,
Sarah
that
did
was-
yesterday? Do we know what Sarah did yesterday? It's like, you know, you do that and you go, hello, and then she goes, yeah, like it's like I was already in here because I was like doing something for some random place that doesn't pay me, so I'm here. And you're like, well, you weren't even here, were you, Ed?
No, Ed wasn't here.
I had like people sending that clip. They're like, what is that attitude? And I was like, it's a saditude. It's a Sarah attitude. It's the.
That's what happens when I don't get sleep
No, but
for like
in
4
all-
days at Turning Point and then I'm sick.
In all seriousness,
was like,
though,
oh my
like
gosh.
people can't fathom that you would be able to just like not you, but just a lot of people in general wouldn't be able to just like find a success on your own just by like being a likable person or having interesting takes or whatever it might be. And also you're very attractive, so like that's part of it too. And so they
now
have
talk
to.
about Sarah. I appreciate
They
that.
well,
I
no, but they
now
to
switch.
justify it, I think people have to like make up lies, and I think in some ways it makes them feel better about themselves because it's like they've never achieved that. So it's like, well, she must have this, and this in order to have gotten there. So I think that's probably
true. That's
part
like
of it.
when people always
Yeah.
like allege they're like, oh, Sarah has a man writing all of her tweets, and I'm like, I don't, but that's kind of a compliment if you think
we were
that like
talking
my
about that
tweets are
earlier.
that good.
I was like, that's a compliment that a man wrote it. Yeah, like
Well, I would say I invite the hate that I get in my life. I invite it. Like if you actually see the way I talk online, like there's a reason why people hate my guts, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? As long as you own it. Like as long as you're like, hey, I'm having an attitude, and people don't like my attitude or whatever. That's fine. But I will say that was crazy. That was the craziest show entrance I've ever heard. I've been on air for like nearly a decade, and I've never heard someone do that in my life. And I was like, holy shit! And
I
that was
seen
my
your
show.
eye
I
like
was
twitching.
Yeah, I was like,
I was-
what is like the 1920s word? I was
Well,
flabbergasted.
well, you pretty much asked. You're like, so Sarah, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I guess like I had to be here because like I went to Turning Point.
And I was like, I need to get you in like classes. Like, I was like, we gotta do camera training. It was like, this is not a Jubilee episode. It's imagine being like, how are you feeling today at work? And then you're to your boss, you're like, well, you know, I mean, if I don't come here, I won't eat. So
I would say that though.
Oh
So like,
my
what's the
God.
problem?
Gen Z is
I
like-
said
Gen Z is
that at
like
the beginning of this
crazy.
show.
Our country's cooked.
We're cooked. Like it's
so
like
done.
We're like cooked. Like do you know like this is why I like when teenagers are working at like fast food in like nice white states than like Hispanics, because like you ever notice that like it's usually actually teenagers from good families are the ones working at those places. It's not like when it's white people and they'll be like, go to Chick-fil-A, and it's like you get pretty lowered service these days now at Chick-fil-A. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Like they don't get a lot of pleasure out of you anymore. And I like when they get pleasure. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, my pleasure, and you're like, oh, you like that? How about I order something else? You know? But I noticed when you like a young white teenager, you can tell that they're like trying to make their dad proud. There's an ulterior motive, or they're trying to like save money for college, and they've been like trained, and they'll give you the best service. Like they'll be like, you know, like I'm glad when the teenagers don't, you know, it's kind of weird if they're saying pleasure and stuff like that. I mean, I guess if you're one of Trump's donors, you might like that.
Wait,
but I'm saying, but
When our title has something to do with Epstein.
Yeah.
It's not the best timing.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying if you're one of Trump's donors, yeah, you probably like that kind of stuff. But I noticed that like young white kids really have a good attitude. And I was at a coffee shop right here in Del Rey. I think it was called like Grimley Coffee or something like this, a mom and pop shop. And there was a young lady there. She was 17 years old. She was like I actually complimented how like nice of a worker she was. Like usually you have like liberals and stuff like that. She was like young white girl, and she was like, oh, like telling to my son, like, oh, he's so cute. Does he want a Rice Krispie treat? And like, welcome in. Like, oh, are you from around here and whatever? And I was like, you know what? We don't have exceptional service like this anymore or whatever. And she was like, yeah, I have a 2-year-old at home. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. I was like, you're married or whatever? You like kids? She's like, no, it's my sister, silly. And I go, how old are you? She's like, I'm 17. And I was like, oh, well, you're so like mature and nice and like whatever. Like this is like, I forgot that like teenagers could like present themselves as like being mature. But when I was like millennial, when I was younger, I told her this. I go, you know what's weird? Because of minorities in the States, you don't see teenagers working anymore.
Yeah.
I go, I just assumed that either you were 35 because you're not brown, that like you must be old. Because I said, do people work in your high school? And she's like, nobody works. Nobody has their driver's license. And I go, which I'm not pointing fingers here, but I will say, she goes, nobody has their driver's license. And I go, dude, you would be called like a pussy in high school if you didn't get your license.
That's not why. It's just because minorities and immigrants are taking all the jobs.
No,
I
I'm
was
saying
listening.
like young kids don't know. Young kids don't want to work, and the driver's license, like kids don't want to drive. They'll just take Ubers when they need it, and then they don't. She even told me, she's like, yeah, none of my friends have driver's license. I'm the only one with a driver's license, and I'm the only one who wants to work.
Yeah, maybe that also has something to do with like how expensive cars and gas are now. Like if you're just like working a few hours a week, a minimum wage job, you can't afford
When
it.
I was in
if you're
high school, it was the financial crisis, and gas was $5 a gallon in high school. I'm just saying, like it was like,
well,
it was a financial crisis. We lost our
you know
home.
what?
I still bought a car.
I was listening to the Channel 5 news, like Channel 5 LA news, which I never listened to, but it was just on in the house. And it was talking about like, oh, so there's all these teenagers now in LA that want jobs and they can't find them for the summer. They all want these full-time jobs, and for some reason there's no jobs available. Wow, this is crazy. And then it's just like, well, we don't know why that is, and moved on. I was like, yeah, maybe it has to do with like opening the border to a bunch of illegal immigrants and then hiring them instead.
Yeah, it makes sense because they can pay them even less than they pay teenagers too.
Yeah.
So it's like actually a gain for these companies.
No, but I am not joking. Like I'm saying, it's weird with millennials. Like in high school, maybe it's because I was just raised poor, but like everybody had a job. Like everybody worked outside of school, and like some people worked full time at night. And like I just remember everybody worked. And when I meet, I don't think that's entirely true. I also think that there's like this gaming thing where all young people want to just be like streamers and celebrities, and they think they all have the like you. One of the reasons why I have a hard time, even though we do hire a lot of young people, is young people think they're worth more money than they are. And they don't realize that like you're only worth as much money to a company as you bring in, like not just media, but any company. It's like, it's like, what's the value asset of your job, right? So if you don't bring in a lot of money, like what do you think a GM at In-N-Out is paid like $100,000, $150,000, $120,000? Because the operation, what they're bringing in is worth a lot of money. Why do you think In-N-Out employees bring in more money than other industries? Because they have a high rate of people that go through customers. They generate a lot of money per unit sold. But I was gonna say with the young kids, like I've been talking to them, and they're like, dude, I don't want to work a job for just like $12 an hour. And you're like, why not? Like, why not? Because the girl was saying that too. She's like, since I've been at home, I've been working since I was in 8th grade, and I've saved up so much money and like been able to be like rich. It's like,
what do you mean? Why not? Why would you trade your time in for $12 an hour? Do you have any idea like how little that gets you? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
There's like almost no point at that
Well,
point.
and also
that's crazy though to give up years of your life. You could have saved up thousands and thousands of dollars, invested, and like you have to start with a small amount of money, put it in the stock market, invest. Then you have to buy like a car to get places to start a company. Like you have to work for a little bit of money to save up 10 grand to start a company. Like you have to like start low always. And I've told that to young people. That's why it's like Sam's smart. You know, he's working for like pennies on the dollar as an intern, and he's already gotten a job out of it. Like he's working he's working as a slave.
Yeah.
And now he's getting a producer job.
I just don't think you realize like how bad things are now, though. I mean, I did the same thing. I worked in high school. I've been working part-time all through college, 6 days a week, full-time every summer.
I'm not talking about you.
While I'm in college. No,
but
I am Gen Z.
I know, but it's not the generation. Like, not there's individual. You're obviously here working. People didn't even know. You said so much that you were at the conference that people were shocked that you're in college because people don't even think of like college students in general being able to work legit jobs. Like that's actually true.
What I will say is like there are, and I think the reason why a lot of young people have this perspective, like I mean, I'm Gen Z, millennial. I'm right on the cusp, so you could say both. I've kind of have experience with in both sides of it. But I worked a normal job, like a what's minimum wage job since I was like 11, which is illegal in the state of Pennsylvania, which is where I'm from. But I mean, I was, I grew up, I would say middle class. But what I will say for even younger people than me, like really young Gen Z, is that they're so used to kind of more unconventional career paths, like working in social media and, people who invest in Bitcoin. And not to say that these are necessarily like, get rich easy schemes or anything like that. But I think they're used to a different, like they're, even OnlyFans, which is obviously not ideal, but there are plenty of young women that still try and do that. Like they kind of want to just get rich quick. And like they're used to that sort of mentality, that sort of career path anyway. Like they're more open to taking unconventional career paths. You didn't have that option, Elijah, and neither did I really, because when I was growing up, we had like normal minimum wage jobs. We didn't have social media, but now you can make money posting if you have a lot of followers. You can do like ad posts. You can do all sorts of different things and I think that's why their perception of like minimum wage jobs is so different from ours. But I still believe that it's mostly the illegals that are responsible for taking.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like there is nuance to it. Obviously, there are just lazy teenagers who think there's no point in working unless you're an influencer or whatever. But it's just like it is hard to get a job now for young people. So I think that needs to be mentioned. And when they do get a job, it sucks because they're working with alongside illegal immigrants, not other American teenagers. Yes, so that does suck. And you have to admit that's part of the same reason why men don't want to go into construction. Because why would you want to go into construction and everyone on the site speaking Spanish, right?
Well,
that is fair to bring up, right? And then on top of that, they don't pay that much for how expensive it is to live.
This is not true. I'm looking at the numbers right now.
Hey,
It's totally not true.
We were breaking down the numbers.
Gas was more expensive in 2008 in LA than it is now. The minimum wage was 65% less than it is now. The average cost of a car has only gone up 30%, but minimum wages have more than doubled. They've gone up to almost a little over $17 average.
You're choosing 2008 as
That's when I was in high school. That's what I'm saying.
You literally
when I was
just
in high
chose
school.
the year of the financial crisis and acted like we wouldn't notice that. That's crazy.
That's the year I started high school.
Why don't
That's when
you
I could
choose?
work.
Yeah, why don't you choose another year?
Because there's no other year that I was able to legally start working. So the year I was able to legally start working when I was 16 years old and was allowed to get a job in California, at that year I got my first job at that year. So I can't be 16 in another year because then I would be 17, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about young people.
That's like using the Great Depression as an example for economics in the past.
know-
It's like, dude, yeah, you just chose like the worst time ever.
Do you know that it went on for the entire 3 years? It was a recession. So my entire
so why
high
are you
school-
using the recession as an example? We're
Because-
in a recession now,
Because
and I'm
you're-
saying
Sarah,
that's hard.
Because you're objectively saying that millennials, when my cohort of millennials were in high school, the cost of living was higher to the wages in major cities than it is today because it was a very serious period in time, yet everybody worked. And you're saying, and it was harder to get a job because there was literally no jobs because every small business was shutting down and the big businesses weren't hiring, but I never knew someone who didn't have a job and didn't own a car.
So there weren't any small businesses that shut down during COVID? Like, you don't think it's like just as bad now?
I didn't say it's not just as bad now. I'm saying you made the claim
But
that
now
it was
we
easier
have
then.
a billion more illegal immigrants than immigrants, so it's a lot harder to get a job, was my whole point.
Not in LA has had like
Not
6
in
to
LA,
8 million illegals since like 1992. It's been The freeways have been packed since 1988. Like ever since they were given amnesty, I'm telling you something has changed. Because when I looked up stats on like even kids who try to get jobs, most said that you said they don't want to because that amount of money won't get you a lot. And I'm saying when I was younger, they worked for that amount of money and it got you less in those areas where it was expensive to live.
Yeah, it's just no motivation. Like, what is the motivation for young people to work when you're not making anything per hour for what you can buy? Like, when you look at how much tuition has raised, rent is really the main thing. Like, how much housing costs have gone up. It's like they know they'll never be able to afford a home. They know you can barely make it through college without taking like 6-figure loans, basically, that you'll never be able to pay back. So young people, like, their future's been sold away. And no, it's not the same. It was hard for the millennials too, but it's not even comparable with Gen Z. Like,
how do you know? I've lived through both eras. You didn't. Like, you weren't working through both eras.
You weren't a Gen Z.
I've worked. I hire people now. I'm telling you, like, legitimately the case. Like,
you're also hiring exceptions like me and Sam.
No, I'm telling you right now that when I tell people try to ask for jobs and when I tell them how much they pay, which is actually above the rate that even Blaze pays or people pay for those same positions, people will say that's not enough money, whatever. And you're going, I don't think you understand. You have no experience. You're not very good at what you do. And their Gen Z has a chip on their shoulder because they see all these. I'm not joking. Yes, is it very hard now and very much why people are depressed, why they don't see any hope? Sure. Was a home affordable in 2005 in LA? No. No one could, according to the wages, no one could afford a home then too. I'm saying millennials are fucked up as well because they don't own homes. I think it's 90% of millennials don't own a home. I was reading or something like that. We don't own homes. Nobody does. I don't own a home. I don't own a home.
90%.
Yeah, of young millennials. I mean, guys go older millennials. I'm talking about my cohort. So in generations, there's like 4 to 4.5 year cohorts. So in my cohort, which is the young group of millennials, we don't own homes like at all. And especially when you look at Los Angeles, it was like 92% of Gen Z from Los Angeles don't own homes. So you have to look at like your region, right? Because you can't really compare it to like a place where a home's like $100,000. It's like in where you like to live where you grew up, you can't afford it. I'm saying I think a lot of people are making excuses, but I think there's a real sickness going on with young people where they just
you know who you sound like right now? You know who you sound like right now?
Yeah, except for the fact that this is the truth. I have people applying for jobs.
You literally made a whole episode rebutting Tim Pool when he said this exact same thing, and then now you're saying what Tim Pool is saying.
I didn't say they're lazy. I said there is a sickness where people
You're basically saying
no.
that.
It's what happened to the black community wanting to be rappers and sports ball players, so they don't work. Like there's a huge issue with the black kids aspire to be rappers and football players, and so they don't go and try to like become investment bankers. They don't do anything. They have a weird culture. A lot of kids today want to be streamers. They want to be like
literally
famous.
What Tim Pool said.
No, this is not, I was on the show and I know what he said and I rebutted it and I won the argument, so I know what I'm saying. And it's not what that was because I was there and I said what I said. I'm saying I have people applying for jobs here on a regular basis that are reaching out to me more often than not that are asking $120,000, $150,000. I had someone that just wanted a journalism job, asked me for $250,000 to start. That's fucking crazy, and that's not the exception. That is the norm.
I do think people who are doing that though, like, and this kind of speaks to their inexperience, but they just genuinely don't know what people pay in this industry. They think fame equals money or like notoriety equals money, and anybody who's worked in this industry for more than like a month will tell you that's not true at all. Like people seem to think you make so much money just because you're willing to talk on camera about politics. That could not be further from the truth. Just so everybody's aware. If you ever want to ask Elijah for a job, don't even think of asking for $250,000 if it's your first job.
Well, I'm that's what I'm getting and I've spoken to a few other CEOs and people at companies. And maybe because you've been running a company too. The people want so much money, and I just think people don't realize how humble you've got to be and how low you've got to start. And I think the streamer thing has messed it up. That's why girls are going to OnlyFans and doing crazy shit. What is it, 2% now of Gen Z girls have an OnlyFans or had one? Or is it higher than that now? I think isn't there more girls with OnlyFans than there are Jews?
Well, the thing about OnlyFans that I've heard is like a lot of these girls will start them and they think, and this I think is part of this. This is the thing about social media, and it's destroyed dating, and it's also destroyed a lot of different things in life. But it creates this illusion of like that you can just make money easily, and a lot of girls will sign up for OnlyFans thinking, well, you'll get money quickly. And then they'll sign up and I think they'll make like almost nothing. And so then they like wound up taking all these nudes and posting them on the internet, and they make like almost.
That's why they're not lazy. Gen Z is not lazy. And that's what Tim was saying, was that Gen Z is lazy. I'm saying it's actually, to take pictures of your butthole every day takes a little bit of effort, and people are doing that. A lot of them are trying to do things, but they're putting their time into like gaming and like streaming, and they're putting their time into things that they want to make money and be something. You know how many black people you meet in LA that are rappers? Everyone's a fucking SoundCloud rapper and a rapper, and you're like, dude, the chances of you making it in that field are like 0.01%. And I'm saying a lot of people, like you're so dismissive of the $12 in these jobs. The mindset I've heard of a lot of Gen Z is like, they don't want those fucking jobs. The same way, it's like, oh, there's Mexicans that work there and stuff. Am I saying that I get it? Yeah, I get it. I just think a lot more people need to understand what I said on Tim's was that they're not lazy. You cannot accept the situation, and it does fucking suck, and it is annoying. Whatever you have to do to make it in life and do it, you got to buckle down and do it, and you can't be a victim, and you've got to earn your way out of the hole.
I don't care. Like, if it was this bad when I was in high school, I probably wouldn't have worked either, because there's no point if you're not making any money. Like, why would you rather just like be
you think
a
it's
slave?
better now? You think it's worse now than it was in your high school? You think COVID was better?
Yes. Yes, I think the economy is better. Well, COVID happened at the end of my high school years. I'm talking about when I was in high school. And yeah, it's worse now. 100% it's worse now. It's gotten pretty bad.
Let me see. We have a couple super chatters. Hold on. Let me just say this real fast. We have $2 from Punish Mav said, mute Sarah's mic fund. That's for $2. You don't get anything because you're $2. We have $10. Said, accidentally said a chat too early, so here's another $10 to finish my original question. If they did watch the debate between Candace and Nick, who won it? I guess we'll come back to that because we're kind of stay on topic here for a second.
Pretty obvious.
Also, let me see. What the hell? Okay. The based clone said, what do women on the panel think about how Candace Owens' eyes are as black as her skin after Nick Fuentes gave her the 1960s drunk dad on her?
That's crazy.
I guess we'll just answer that. And he asked, who do you think won? I'll go to the girls. He wants to know with the girls.
Okay, you go first.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the beginning, but I do think she had an attitude with him that she doesn't normally take with people. And one thing that's like weird, and I don't understand why she did this. She was like, and they always do this with him. They're like, well, you're not married, so you can't weigh in on this, or like, you don't know what you're talking about, or you should be doing this. And it's just like very condescending, and it's like, just debate the points. I don't understand why they always have to go around it and just like, yeah. So I didn't watch the whole thing. Based on what I watched, he seemed to have better points than she did. So yeah, I would say he won.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
I didn't see
I
it.
watched the whole thing from start to finish. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he obviously won, but it wasn't even like a win or lose thing. It was just like a stupid conversation because
it wasn't a debate really.
Yeah. I mean, they debated race for a bit and he obviously won that. I don't think she's like really looked into it before, but it was really stupid. Honestly, I just thought it was disappointing. Like I was watching, I just felt uncomfortable and disappointed because it was just her grilling him over like her feeling personally attacked over certain things he said or said about Dave Smith or whatever.
Yeah, why was it so much about Dave Smith? It wasn't even
it was just airing out these personal grievances and drama from her for like an hour and a half. And I was like, and it was just stupid. I was like, I don't think people care about this that much. Like, talk about it for 10 minutes, maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
Air it out. I mean, I'm sure we all want to hear that, but maybe talk about things that could actually impact the world in a positive way. Maybe try to get the truth out there. This is an opportunity for like a really good collab, but instead it was just a stupid.
And it was behind a paywall, which everybody was super
stupid.
About.
But yeah, it was just like stupid influencer beef, and it wasn't his fault because she was the one leading the conversation. She's the one who invited him on her show. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed in that, and it was weird because Candace isn't usually like that when she interviews people. I think she's usually a lot more charitable, and she just wasn't really being charitable with him at all. And I can tell when women are like that when they
condescending.
I can tell when women clearly hate someone. And you could hear it in her voice and her expressions that she like has some severe anger towards him. You could totally tell.
Yeah, and because she's married to a white guy, so I guess she's clearly pro race mixing. You know, which is I'm not pro race mixing, but like if that's what you like, you know. But she walked into it with this like anger. You're totally right. And also, I think the thing about Candace, and I do like some of her content, but you know, the thing about her is she's kind of used to just being the token black girl. So she can kind of skate by just by being like anti-BLM, and everybody thinks she's awesome and conservative and this and like that. And she's been doing that for years. That's always been her shtick. But this was the first time I think she's been confronted with somebody who actually like knows what they're talking about and wanted to have an intellectual conversation in good faith. And I think she's smart enough to have realized that's what was going on, but she didn't like it. She didn't like being in that situation. And yeah, I agree. She acted a lot different than she normally does.
Yeah, it was honestly just like a woman moment.
Well,
it was a woman moment. I'm not gonna lie, because Dinesh probably disagrees with him on so much more, and he was a lot more charitable. They were just able to. He was able to remove all his feelings from it. Someone even made a joke about him being Indian. He laughed it off. You know, it was like he was way more chill and like. Yeah, I think that it was kind of just a woman moment of not being able to separate these like personal emotions from just having a good conversation, creating some good content, and like trying to, you know, promote some truth to the audience.
I know, but on the back end, I mean, I didn't watch it, so I have no opinion on the thing itself. But I was told from the production on their end that it was like kind of the dissatisfaction or whatever, like publicly, like originally, like both were totally cool with how it went and was like excited about releasing, and then suddenly it flipped like publicly to make it seem like it was like bad. And maybe that was because I was trying to figure out why that happened, because apparently Nick was very cool with how it went and liked it and was excited. But I'm wondering if whoever edited the commercial that like tried to make him look bad, I'm wondering if that's what set him off, because I just saw the commercial.
The
and
cold open was
commercial. The commercial
They were trying to
definitely.
set him up.
Well, the commercial definitely looked like a hit job. Like that's what I'm like genuinely. But I think that I'm wondering what else happened behind the scenes, because a lot of times with these like very like big, influential people, when you talk to them both individually, which I typically do, and like ask them what happened or what went on, I'm not going to get into private messages with people or anything like that. But it was like, you know, it seems like always both sides think they're right and both sides think they did the right thing, and that the other person was being immature and that it was blah, blah, blah. I'll say this, you know, I have no fucking clue, but I also don't want to listen to two people, you know, beef it out about something that it's not. Like, I don't know. I just don't listen to women in general.
It was just like, it's just like a relevant drama that affects no one
That's what I was
but
saying.
them. So that's why it was disappointing. It was like, this could have been such a great show,
That's what
right?
it sounded like to me.
That's
My
why,
wife watched
that's
it. Her in the
why
back,
it was
I was like,
disappointing.
so
You know, I was like,
Well, I thought it was
this was
gonna
like a
be-
good opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
this could have been a great collab, but they kind of just ruined it.
Well, I thought it was going to be more about Israel and the Jew problem, and going to be more about them, you know, I don't know, kind of dissecting that. But yeah, it was very personal and weird. I didn't like.
Well, it should have been about the war with Iran, because this was like, it was recorded during the time, like right after that all started, and he was invited on last minute and everything. So I'm sure he was expecting that, and yeah, that's not what it was about.
Let me real fast. If we can get the music going, we've got a couple big super chats here right now. From JK on YouTube. We've been getting a lot of super chats on YouTube as well. $100 TPUSA equals cleavage with crucifixes. I'm a fan of both. Not necessarily together, but I'm gonna be honest. Charlie knows what he's doing. Maybe I'll go kiss the wall too soon if it works. By the way, I don't know if we figured out the editorial issue with the other company. I don't know if we got anywhere on that.
That music's really going this time.
Yeah.
Huh?
Sorry. I just so you guys know, this week I'm just gonna pick more fights randomly, because one thing that has been bothering me about this show is that there hasn't been enough back.
You're not gonna pick fights. You always say that, and you don't.
He's picked a couple.
Did somebody say something? Anyways, whenever women speak, I hear. It's like a mosquito. But no, I was gonna say because we need more back and forth. I was hoping the show would be a little more like the whole point. You were here when I launched that. The point of the show was literally I started it with like an atheist feminist, and it was supposed to be like combative and like rebuttaling each other.
Well, we argued today, so that was good.
I don't know if you call that arguing. I don't know what you call your performance, but I will say that I will.
What?
All right, no, I'm messing around. I do want more back and forth, So please, because I see you biting your lip
Yeah,
all
guys,
the time.
put stuff in the chat. Put stuff in the super chats that you want us to argue about.
No, but I was
gonna
gonna say, I always see Hennessy like holding back and like wanting to like fucking come against me or Sarah or other people. Like I just see him being like, holy shit. Like say that. Be like, dude, shut up and like say your piece. People really do love it, and they do love it. And it's just like double down. And double down. Just do
They
it.
love the
Just don't wear the
controversy.
beanie when you're doing it.
By the way, everyone thought I won that argument. By the way, in the
Who's
chat.
everyone?
In the chat.
Okay, cool. Irrelevant. Homer J. Fuentes. Homer J. Fuentes. Let's get a couple air horns, can we? Do you have the air horn? Let's get it. Yeah, let's go. Some confetti as well. Said there are more Holocaust survivors than OnlyFans. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, I don't know. I don't think like anyone even is like also the Renegger sent in $2, said money for Shut Sarah Up Fund. P.S. Elijah, show boobs or gay. One day I'll do it. I just already can read the deposition. It's like then he took off his clothing. Like I already know it. I already know where this is going. You know, when it's all guys, we'll have some more fun. But we're gonna.
Sorry, didn't mean to ruin the fun.
Doesn't sound like fun to me.
No,
when we get a
the
bunch of guys
contract.
together, we'll take our shirts off together and it'll be great.
I actually told Brayden we're gonna go work out.
Now I'm gonna fight back. I don't want to have a bunch of half-naked men around me.
He likes them fully naked. You know what I mean?
Van man it up.
Half is horrible. Also, I was going to read that in the chat as well. Somebody also said here in the locals chat, since we're there.
They said Elijah's so butthurt right now.
I'm not. That's not what they said. They said, "Oh wow, okay." I don't know if we should read this. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to say this. By the way, I do want to bring back child labor. That's a new thing I was going to talk about.
The strawberry
that
farms?
was actually kind of my idea. I want to bring it back because I did see a picture recently of a child chimney sweeper, and he looked really happy at the cafe we go to. He looked like he was having a fun time, and my son does love getting into dangerous places and getting dirty, and so it's like I just like get that man in the mines, get that man a pickaxe and get him to work. Somebody said. Zesty AIDS. No, they were just. I'm trying to like weigh them in, but they're like just saying like some money is better than no money, Sarah. There's no like statements. Like I'm like trying to find like somebody. Someone said just bought 1,200 coins for $120 and I don't have any coins in my account. I'm sorry, I have no idea what that is. You can just email me Elijah at RiftTV.com if you ever have money problems. I'm never gonna take your money and like cause problems. So I can always help you with the customer service with locals if they ever take your money. All right, so going into some other topics here. Where are we at in timing? Okay, going into some other topics. Like I said, Dinesh D'Souza will be there, but one of the videos I kind of want to go back to this that I thought was kind of crazy was the Benny Johnson video where Lara Trump goes after or talks to Benny, because everyone knows that Benny actually has been probably the most consistent in trying to uncover the Epstein files, which people give Benny a lot of shit, but he's been having really high profile people on for years trying to uncover them, including, remember with Matt Gaetz, where Matt Gaetz kind of insinuated that, things were a lot worse than they could be. That Trump's daughter came on, and I just want to say, the whole like Trump dynasty, coming on, this whole like putting her on just because she's attractive or whatever, and like, that she was going to be a good governor. She said she's going to be like a senator, right? She's going to be running for Senate, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's ridiculous. But she does point out the fact on the show that she admits that Trump is like kind of doesn't know what to do because his base has genuinely turned. And of course, the Democrats love this. But I thought this was crazy for her to admit. I don't know if she meant to admit it. And I bet you Trump called her and got mad at her. Check this out.
What would be your advice? Given this back and forth, we're just coming off of Turning Point here in Tampa. This was the topic of conversation. What would be your advice in order to take the temperature down on this issue from within the administration?
Well, I do think that there needs to be more transparency on this. And I think that will happen. I mean, look, I don't know what truly exists there, but I know that this is something that's important to the president as well. He does want transparency on all these fronts, everything we're talking about, because it's frustrated him as well. He sat for 4 years like the rest of us did and saw lie after lie and saw our country just being sent down the wrong path. And it was really frightening and very upsetting to a lot of people to see. And I would actually say over the past 10 years, we've all kind of endured this. Prior to that, it was probably happening, Benny, but we just weren't as aware of it. It wasn't until Donald Trump came down that golden escalator that he just kind of blew the doors off of everything. And people started to wake up and realize, wait a minute, things are not as they have always been presented to us. And I do believe that you will see that. Now, as it relates to the president, I know that this is probably not his number one thing he's focused on. He's focused on a lot of other important things. We've got this big announcement with Russia going on, I think, as we're speaking right now at the White House. We have, a Middle East, we're trying to get peace over there. We're trying to make sure that Iran's nuclear arsenal is obviously completely decimated. We want to make sure everything is on the right track for this country. Fortunately, you've seen no border crossings in the last month. 0, by the way. I think that's incredible. No one's talking about that enough. 0 illegal border crossings in the month of June. Amazing how that's all gone. So I don't know that this was top of mind for him, but he hears all the noise and he hears all of the consternation out there. And I think he's going to want to set things right as well. So I believe that there will probably be more coming on this. And I believe anything that they are able to release that doesn't, damage any witnesses or anyone underage or anything like that, I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand it. So hopefully we see that happen sooner than later. And I guess that would be my advice. But to everybody out there who's all worked up about it, there's no great plot to keep this information away that I'm aware of. I do just believe that maybe it's been slow rolled for reasons that hopefully we understand down the line. And I think we're probably going to get.
Okay, there's so many things wrong with this, though. Number one, no offense, this is not meant to be a rude statement, but it's like some rich billionaire blonde woman telling me something and trying to reassure me is not going to give me any reassurance. It's like you're a billionaire blonde woman who's lived a life of privilege. You literally said blonde hair brings privilege. It's blonde privilege, right? And so as a resident blonde, should we be trusting this woman? Yes or no?
No.
Why not though? Why don't you trust her? I mean, people would say it's sexist or whatever. Why don't you trust her?
Probably because she's Trump's daughter.
That's great. And it's like so simple. It's like, that doesn't help me, Benny. It doesn't help me. It is really true. It's
Trust my dad.
Yeah, that's what they're
Who's
saying.
the president?
Hey, honestly, I'd be proud of my daughter, though.
And then she says the slow roll. She's like, we're just slow rolling it out. No, you're telling people stop talking about it. You're telling people that it's all a lie. It's a conspiracy made by the Democrats. And why are we still on this topic? Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, that's literally what they're telling us. So for her to come out and say it's a slow roll, that's not the case. What it is when we were supposed to get the Epstein files, all he did was a Rickroll. We got nothing out of it, and that's
yeah. Well, they literally said they're like, it's totally over now. None of it actually happened. Epstein isn't actually even a real guy, and the list isn't there, and he did kill himself. And we're just gonna close this case for now. And then now everyone's like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Then now they're like, oh no, guys, we're still working on it. It's like a slow roll. They've changed what they're saying about it every 5 seconds.
Well, and that's why it's so hard to follow it and believe anything they say because they've just been throwing everything at it. But one thing I wanted to talk about too that you brought up earlier, Sarah, is the fact that this is not, there's no standard, and this kind of speaks to a deeper issue. It's not even just, I would say the Epstein file situation is exposing this problem, and that problem would be the fact that there's not only nepotism obviously involved with the Trump admin and the way that they operate with their family involved, but also how they work with media companies. And I've worked in media for a while, and a lot of the time it's how do we get Trump's attention? That's the focus rather than bringing information. And I'm not even necessarily commenting on Benny Johnson for doing this, just in general.
He didn't say anything. I mean,
no,
really.
But don't you guys think nepotism is kind of base though?
Well, no, but my point was that I'm not even commenting necessarily on him specifically. I'm just saying that there's this push to have Trump people on, Trump family members. It's all about getting, who can we have that's going to attract Trump's attention? And that's what it's become on the right. So rather than replacing the mainstream media with something better, something informative, someone who's maybe going to actually give an insider perspective and say, this is what's going on, this, and this. It's more about how do we suck up to Trump? How do we and that's, I think, the bigger issue, the deeper issue with the Epstein files, with the media situation. And I know that sounds very negative.
She's head of the RNC. Just remind people, it's not just his daughter.
Well, that's
with
why
nepotism,
it's a problem.
that's not even just nepotism. I like nepotism in terms of I agree with you in almost every sector, except it also has to make sense. So yes, do I want to dissolve the democratic system and make Barron Trump the Pope and then make him king of America? Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. But also, Lara Trump, it's Lara Trump is just like, okay, I have to be careful. Actually, I work with the RNC, so I can't say anything about her. Actually, really rude. But I.
Okay.
No, I'm being
So
serious.
you're on the payroll too.
You're going to
I
ruin
literally
those
am
dinners.
a Republican lobbyist. Literally, that's like, how do you think we pay for all this? But it's legitimately speaking, you know, I'm not gonna say anything mean about her. But I will say, I obviously did not get into her position because she earned it. Everybody knows that. Is that necessarily problematic? Well, that would depend on whether or not she's qualified. Do I think that she's qualified to run a bunch of snobby, helpless homosexuals? No, maybe she is qualified to run the RNC because the RNC sucks.
Yeah, is it really that hard?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really just a what's that called? Like the job where it's just like. It's not a facade, but like
You're just like
there's
the,
a
I don't
phrase
know.
where it's just like one of those
you're
positions.
just like the face of the job.
Like a token,
Yeah.
it's like a token job where it's just like the head of the RNC, and it's like you just like cast a vote. It's like being the vice president. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you really do, JD?
It's
What
there
do you
for
really
optics.
do? You're there to like cast a tie-breaking vote once the people that really are in power tell you how to do that. But like the RNC isn't to anybody. The RNC is whoever runs each district, and I think that we really do ourselves a disservice to remind ourselves that the really only people who are in power are the Israeli lobby. Actually, sorry, it's the Qatari terrorist channel Al Jazeera. I love how they've tried. But can we talk about the gaslighting? Because I want to get into some more of these links here. But I was going to say what was even weirder about this stuff is that Matt Gaetz is now glazing Pam Bondi. This is so weird. Okay, so everyone's like, well, Gaetz wouldn't have done this. Really? Listen.
Trump never stopped building a business empire, a media empire, a political empire. We believe he has exactly the team to maximize success. Let's start with Pam Bondi. The Attorney General always takes a lot of flack in any administration, but look at what she has accomplished. The Bondi team successfully litigated away the judicial coup of nationwide injunctions. They did that. They won that for us. They have created the legal infrastructure for highly effective deportations. She's got the cartels self-deporting. She has targeted the criminals and the gang networks. Attorney General.
I just wanted to point out, though, glazing Pam Bondi, I feel like when we're talking about good things that she's done, also, I know we're having some buzzing, but that's just like somehow microphones are touching power cables. So I don't know what that, it's got to be this maybe. Yeah, something like that. Somebody's microphone is touching a power cable. You're good, but I was going to say, no, you can sit down, but I wanted to go to you real fast. We give an update. Dr. Kirk Moore, he just got obviously let off since the last time you were on. He was being arrested. You were at the court case, Salt Lake City, right? And we were talking about how he gave saline instead of the safe and effective product, genetic product that we all know and love from Pfizer and Moderna. Yep. He was being prosecuted by Bondi, and then she let him off. And there's some updates here about that's what's going on. And I just kind of like, I want you to talk about like who Bondi really is and what's going on, because while Bondi's not releasing the Epstein files, she's spending her time prosecuting people who try to protect Americans from getting those injections. But you guys don't even know some of these updates. It's actually gotten really crazy. Listen to this.
Well, I think the big thing is that Pam Bondi is certainly, she's conflicted, right? She's conflicted. And it's just like you, I have to be careful with what I say, because there's a special meeting tomorrow for one of the pardons that she just did, right? I think it's fair to say that Kirk Moore will be meeting Pam Bondi tomorrow, and I think that they're going to be doing a photo shoot, photo op, a little bit, try to glaze it over a little bit more and try to get a win amidst a sea of losses. I mean, I think that the credibility of the U.S. government right now is at great risk, right? None of us here believe anything that they publish. They could literally come out right now with a press conference and speak for an hour, and I don't think anyone here would believe a word that the government said. If it's not, we're releasing the files today, right? But the conflict of interest they're speaking about is it's Pfizer. Pam Bondi, the first thing she did when she became Attorney General was not to free the J6ers, was not to investigate those that have censored people around this table. All you guys have been censored in one form or another. But what she did is she shut down an investigation into Pfizer. She literally shut down an investigation into bribery in Mexico and China.
And she was a consultant for Pfizer.
Oh, they say that. That's the thing.
That's what I've been hearing. I don't know.
That's
Is it
the
true?
spin. That's the spin. So essentially, she was a contractor through a law firm who was hired to represent Pfizer. So you can say, fair, that she didn't work directly for Pfizer, but her job was to look out for the interests of Pfizer, which I think it's fair to then argue that could be a conflict of interest, right? Her interest should be for the U.S. government. Instead, she's looking out for her interests with the big pharmaceutical company.
I do think that what's kind of crazy about that is like That's why these people are they're just swamp rats, man. And it's apt. Like people always say, "Oh, aren't you afraid of the alligators? Aren't you afraid of the alligators in Florida?" No, I'm afraid of people like Pam Bondi. You know what I mean? Those are at least swamp
Pam
puppies.
Bondi, Alcatraz.
Yeah, imagine put Pam Bondi outside of an immigration center, and it's like your kid might get molested, and then they get away with it. You know what I mean? That's like it's some crazy stuff.
But don't touch a Tesla or protest in front of a college. Then she'll come for
Wait,
it.
but no, we can do the Teslas now because they don't like Musk.
Oh, that's
So
true.
now
That's
you
true.
can
And
have
it's crazy.
Teslas now.
Right after Elon made that comment about Trump, I mean, now we got this all being stopped. I don't know if he was on the list. I don't know anything about that, but I'm just saying it's just interesting timing immediately after. It's like, yeah, we're not going to release that. No.
Sorry, I also realized I haven't been involved in the Rumble chat at all really tonight. I've mostly just been in locals, hanging out with you guys and then on the YouTube chat. But have you been on the Rumble chat tonight? Yes?
Yeah, I've been monitoring it.
Okay. I wasn't modding it
We're
or anything
keeping
like
an
that.
eye on it.
Okay, cool. I just got in there right now and there's like
That's
a couple
actually
more
the only
super
one I'm
chats as
looking
well. Pale Hoss said, Anna, no Mar-a-Lago makeover, please. It's true, meaning like
Yeah, well, don't worry. I wasn't planning on doing that.
someone said Lara Trump,
That just
Sarah in
means
5
no
years? Question mark?
Botox and no.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
that's like Sarah
Well,
in
I'm
like
not
30
against-
years. She's like 50, right? Like Laura's like old. Like
Yeah,
Laura's not
I'm not
young.
against Botox when you're like when you need it, you know. But I'm in my 20s, so I'm good. I'm good on that.
I think also one of my favorite things too is one of my favorite chats I ever read that was like, by the way, this is like totally just Mendoza's not here because he got deported again, but he did again. We keep calling ICE and he keeps coming back. Apparently he's one of the ones that knows how to swim, so it's unfortunate. He keeps it's like he keeps coming back. Someone was like, smart on Elijah to hire someone who has more of a lisp than him. Now I can't even tell that he has one. And I was like, I remember Mike's like, well, it's kind of true, whatever, on the show. And I was like, it's like actually the funniest thing. And then now whenever people make comments about the lispy one, I never know if it's me or him. Like I never know who they're talking about. It's like, man, I don't like this lispy guy. I'm like, is it me or Mike? It's just I don't know. Anyway, I just saw a couple lispy comments in here that made me crack up. You guys are great. Mostly the Rumble chat is just people calling me gay and then like making like weird homoerotic references. Like I'll just be like, yeah, I gotta go use the restroom. And it'll be like, Michael and Elijah are getting lubed up with Van Man for back shots. And you're like, what the hell? Like the comments are just bizarre on Rumble. And then YouTube's like picking up now finally. And then locals is just people being like posting swastikas and stuff. You know what I mean? I asked us what that is. It's like people like, I bent like this. I did this like move when I was pretending to be Stephen Hawking. And then they like said my body was the shape of a swastika. And they put like this whole like diagram over it. Crazy stuff. But I appreciate it. All right, moving on to some other things as well. We saved some of this stuff on Epstein. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about a little bit on the Minneapolis guy that we were just talking about. It is kind of crazy, but I think more importantly, I actually wanted to go into. Do you have this?
Can you show that billboard if you
where?
go up to the yellow?
Yellow
down.
right here?
Yeah. It kind of shows you the state of our country we're in. This is this is where we're heading, guys. These are our choices.
Oh wow!
Ready to flee New York City? Did he make this?
It's a billboard
Vivek?
that was in New York. Yeah, I would guess Vivek.
You won't want that crazy socialist guy? Well, hey, what about that demon guy who doesn't shower?
Choose your Indians wisely.
Dude, one's a pack. I think he's a Paki, actually.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Isn't he? Isn't
one
Mamdani
without
a Paki?
shoes
He's
and
from
one that eats
Pakistan.
with his
No,
hands.
he's Indian. He's Indian.
Oh no, he's technically African.
Yeah, but he was.
That's what it is.
He was born in Uganda, but I think his parents were Indian.
No, I was told that where you're born, it makes you that country. So he's Ugandan, actually. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Just
No,
like Vivek
yeah,
is American. Because Vivek is American, right? So
yeah, he
so
put
he's
on
Ugandan.
his college applications African American and Asian.
Yo,
And
he's
it's like I don't
he's
know if I would like
African.
think Indians are like either of those things. Like I guess they're like South Asian.
That's why I say my wife's
yeah.
African, because she's from Africa, and that makes her African American. So that's like really cool. It's true, like you know what I mean. Like we know Elon Musk is African because he's born, but that's
South
unironically
Africa,
true
yeah.
because the whites. Dude, there's not one major city in Africa that like whites didn't build. Like that's crazy, huh? That's like actually crazy to think about.
Well, they have great whites there, don't they?
A lot. Do you want to know some history stuff that I think is interesting? Is Black people often tell this lie. There's this big lie about a big genocide that happened. I don't know. This is the first time hearing about these lies about genocides. But there's, obviously everyone always talks about the Congolese genocide, right? Of like the Dutch, or is it the Dutch? It is, right? King Leopold, right? Like they always talk about this in school. They always talk about King Leopold and this great genocide of like 20 million Africans. And they always show these pictures of people's hands being chopped off. Over the several years, it's been, debunked multiple times, and then it repops back up that there was this giant genocide. What's so crazy about white people is that white people literally ended the Barbary slave trade in the Congo, literally stopped the Jews and the Arabs from their slave trade who were cutting off the hands of slaves, went in and literally restored justice and order. And then the way that the Jewish people who wrote our books write about it is they say that the white people did all the criminal activity, and they tell the people in the Congo to expel the whites. And just like what happened in Haiti, when they expelled the whites in the Congo, it is now one of the most violent places in the world. However, I will say this, it's a good thing white people aren't there. And like Officer Tatum says, it's just like Hartford, Connecticut, because they're Christians, and what really makes American is Christianity. And so, we all should move to the Congo. We should do our podcasts out of the Congo. I challenge Officer Tatum, please do your podcast in the heart of the DRC, because they're Christians, and we all know what makes America great is our faith in God and not our skin color. Can I get an amen? Thank you. Anyways, it's true though, right? I love when people say that. It's like, then go to a Christian. We should start paying. We should start GoFundMe, pay for people to go. Like, we should, like, anyone says that, we should like pay for Charlie Kirk to move TPUSA to the heart of the Congo. Like, go, please move it there, since it's more American than our country because it's more Christian.
Well, that's what they say. We've seen that with Charlie Kirk said it. You had a bunch of others that come out and say it, and they're like, well, as long as they're Christian and they're American. I mean, that's really what matters. Yes, we're a Christian nation, but that doesn't mean just because someone's a Christian that they're American. But we hear it more time and time again. It's the same people, though, that tell you that America is just an idea.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to the Belgians, not the Dutch. Yeah, I'm sorry. All those little tiny European countries, they all kind of are the same to me. I'm not very American. Is anyone else like that? Like, you're just like, oh, it's the Belgian, the Dutch. Like,
I feel you on
just
that.
kind of like, some of them do chocolate, some of them do prostitution.
Some do both.
Yeah. So the Belgians are the chocolates, right? And the Dutch, the prostitutes? Yeah, okay. Am I wrong? Is that someone else even?
Sounds accurate.
Are the Dutch the Netherlands? I'm going to sound really dumb here, but this is very American. Like, not know your European races.
Don't know.
Oh, by the way,
do you know? Do you honestly know? You want to come make us all look dumb for a second?
Wait, what? What was it about? I was looking up something about King Leopold.
Go ahead.
It was Belgium. He was Belgianese.
Oh my gosh.
What? He said he was Dutch.
We literally just corrected that for the last 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying attention because I was looking stuff up about it.
Just like,
but yeah, I think
this has happened 2 shows in a row.
I don't even know how much it was about the Arabs, because this says that a lot of it was just that King Leopold told the Congolese business leaders, who were African, obviously, to increase production. So then they started making it into slavery. So it was basically like the black on black crime.
No, they were put in there. Like, he was actually told to shut down. Like, that's actually a lie too. That whole. This is from a book that's completely been fabricated. That what's his name? Will Tanner, who I think is today one of, like, Daryl Cooper and Will Tanner are fantastic, but Will Tanner there's been like new discoveries that this was been completely fabricated. Like, this history of the Congo was just fabricated by. You'll never guess who fabricated this. I'm not going to let you guys guess, but when you guys check it out, it's not, their Wikipedia pages won't shock you. You know what I mean? When you find out who was involved in this anti-white narrative in Africa.
Connecticut, is it?
They're from Connecticut.
Yes. Damn Connecticut every time.
But I agree with you on this. I think you can always take all this anti-white narrative. Did white people commit massive atrocities in countries? Yes. Was our biggest atrocity was trying to civilize these people that now, like, we should have left them alone. We should have built a giant wall around Africa and just said, like, what did you say? You said, God literally put a giant desert to keep these people from getting to us. You know what I mean? And then we're like, whoa, what if we go around the desert in our big, nice ships and we bring them to work for us for free? And it's like, now they still work for us for free, but we don't get any output. We just get crime and rap music.
Did you see the video of the Black American lady who ended up going to Kenya? Did you end up seeing that one?
I know, I didn't.
Oh, she went there because she wanted to escape all the, what's going on in America and pretty much get away from all the white people. And then as soon as she got there, they were telling her, like, we don't want you here. We actually want white tourists to come and everything. She breaks it down. I have it under culture.
Can you just not come up today? Are we good?
I don't know if we have it set up over there.
This is you can. I'll bring it up too. So check this out. This is it right here.
Yeah.
This is a Black African American. I thought this was like Xavier Randiso from
PragerU.
It's the PragerU video. Here's the video from PragerU. 10 reasons why we should send them more money. Here we go.
They loved having white Americans in their village. Now I done replaced them, and they are looking at me like, who, you? You that look like us? You're here to help us, to save us? What happened to the white people? And you bald, you ain't got no hair, and you childless, so you're really not a woman.
I don't know if she's
in
want
their
to
culture,
talk.
and at that time, you're not a full woman.
Dude, that's so they call her bald, and because she's childless, she's not a real woman. I actually do agree with that. A girl becomes a woman, of course, when she has her menstrual cycle. That's when you become like a woman officially. But I think that's why I always encourage adoption. I actually do encourage adoption. I think either have a child, and if you can have a child, then adopt. Because being a mother, mothers are nurturing. I think that's what I think adoption is largely there for as well. Families who, like, I have two friends. One friend who couldn't have kids and then adopted, then ended up having 2 kids, which is actually crazy. After like being barren for a very, very long time. But all I was gonna say is, like, this woman is clearly just a narcissist. That's just, like, anybody who has that color hair is a problem.
Yeah,
why would you do
for
that?
attention. Yeah.
Is that my screen or is that? Oh, that's just my screen. I should have booger in her nose.
That's from you yelling. It just covers the screen.
Yeah, it's literally so much spit on this thing. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. You know what? That's why I don't make anyone sit across from me. Like, I once had a setup where I had. This is not a joke. When I was creating one of my sets, they were like, "Why do you want the guests so far from you? And why do you want the seats like this?" I was like, "I spit when I talk. Like I spit so much." And I was like, I went through years of therapy, and I can't like keep my tongue. I can't like not spit when I talk. It's just like it's a impediment. And they're like, "Oh," I go, "Literally, it'll cause problems." And then like I remember like my co-host was like, "Yeah, I just like look over in the light and I just see like fountains coming out of your mouth." I'm like, "Thank God he's at a different angle." So I'm trying to I try to keep nobody here for that very reason. And do you remember when you were kids too? People used to. This is why I like bullying. When you were younger, people had sayings, and now parents tell kids not to bully each other. Like, remember people used to say it, don't spray it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I heard
my mom said that to me one time when I was a kid. Well, she used to say it to me a lot.
I'm kind of sad people don't say that anymore.
What does that even mean?
Like if you spit
Did
when
you
you
never
talk.
hear that one? Like, because you like when you look down, or like when you have your mouth open, people would like.
It was never said to me, so I don't know.
Well, you didn't hear people saying it. Like I was like, everyone would like, say it, don't spray it. It was like a thing, like to each other.
No.
Well, I think bullying is
Bullying was
it
fun.
serves a purpose.
Make
because
bullying great again.
I said that one time on my show like 2 years ago, and like the boomers attacked me. They were like, no, you can't say that. My son was slammed into a locker in 1992. So I'm very sensitive to this. It's like, well, obviously I'm not calling
Is that
for
like a real thing
violence.
that people have done?
What?
I don't know, because I was homeschooled.
Well, like, there's-
like just like putting people in
No,
lockers.
that's
Like
not
I
a
feel like that's in
thing.
cartoons.
Someone broke
right?
my leg.
Yeah, people mess with
Wait,
you.
what?
Someone broke my leg. I got bullied so bad in junior high. Someone broke my leg. Like,
Okay, well,
like, not
that's a bit
joke.
severe, but I do think that there's something to be said for like showing you what's normal like what's acceptable and what's not. And I think bullying kind of does that because you have to, in order to function in real life, have to have some understanding of like how to behave in a social setting or like what's okay, what's not. Otherwise, you're actually your own worst enemy. So I think bullying actually helps a lot of people.
Yeah, but
Wait,
like,
Elijah, I
people-
thought you were homeschooled.
I was homeschooled, and then I got a scholarship, and then went into a school in my later years. But I went to school. Yeah, I was homeschooled only until like 7th grade, and then I went to school. But I was gonna say on the side note, so people like don't think we have bullying like that. It did used to be like that, but now we have the gift of multiculturalism. So people just stab people and shoot people, and white people kind of toned it down. You know, we just kind of like don't bother the people and stick to ourselves. You're not going to take a kid and throw him in the trash can when his friends are going to shoot you. So things have escalated to where people just kill each other now or stab each other. And so, yeah, you know, it used to be like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like you got thrown in a trash can or like given a swirly, and like that's like that's abuse. And I'm not like promoting like that level of bullying, like physical assault. But you know, you need to be if you're a bitch, you need to be checked a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's like Ben Shapiro. Like Ben Shapiro needs to be given a couple swirlies, you know? I'm not promoting violence, but just like stick that guy in a trash can. You know what I mean? The Haitians take that to a new level, though. They'll also put a tire around your neck and do more with it. Golden Bolt sent $20 and said, glad to see Based Anna back in the fray.
Aw.
She's a real one.
Thanks, Golden Bolt. He used to send super chats on my show. So,
well,
great to hear from you, Golden Bolt.
Yeah, well, it's also Farm Friend Groper said, let's get Dean Withers on the show. I think a Sarah Dean Withers collab would be great.
He asked me to debate him before.
But but I don't want him to be Chat GPT. I want him to be in studio.
Yeah, that's
without
the
a
thing.
computer.
Everyone told me not to debate him when we asked because
I don't want to Chat GPT.
They said that he has
He's on
like
the
his
phone, too.
friends
Yeah.
and his AirPod and he's using Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's a whole team thing. It's like, I want to see these kids just sit down and talk.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, that's the most annoying thing. The kids that emulate Destiny, like they just like copy him,
and you can totally tell that's who they're trying to emulate.
Yeah, it's
like as soon as they open their mouth.
Like you go. So they'll be like, the question is, like, so do you think Trump should have won the 2020 election? And then like. They even do what Destiny does. They'll be like, no, listen, that's actually not the question. Okay, listen, you're trying to frame this in a way that is absolutely inaccurate. Okay, the truth of the matter is Trump an evil man? And the answer is, should evil people be president? And the question is, yes, he's evil. Okay, so no, I'm not done talking. Stop interrupting me. Can you stop interrupting me? Stop interrupting me. I'm actually a smart guy. I'm actually intelligent, and I've graduated high school. Okay, I have gone through science classes, and that makes me credible. Okay, do you have a degree?
Okay, this is giving me PTSD from every Jubilee debate.
That's how they talk. You gotta
That's-
just shut up.
Well, when he debated Nick Fuentes, Nick was like, can you stop doing this like Chat GPT thing? Or I forget what he said, but he called it like a Chat GPT voice, which was hilarious and totally accurate because that's exactly what they try to do. And that's what Destiny does. But, you know, at least Destiny like has been doing this for a while, but they'll just like try so hard to sound like Chat GPT.
You should be able to throw stuff at them. Like there should be three
They try
throws.
to sound like they just try to sound like they're in like high school debate club or something. Like they just sound like nerds basically. Like they sound like nerds, like they don't have a personality or they're not real people, and it's really cringe.
Did you ever see this? Did you ever see those girls that won the black? Yeah. Did you ever see those girls that won the black speech and debate thing? Did you ever see that?
Oh, I seen that. I know what you're talking. It was like terrible.
Yeah, did you ever see this? This is not a joke.
Is this real too? I've seen
during
it.
During the height of DEI, where
Yeah.
people just needed to make people win. There was these like black girls that were like, they won the speech and debate competition, and everyone's like, they didn't come across very articulate or educated when they interviewed on the news, and then everyone was like, found the clip of the debate, and it was like, this is not a joke. Watch this.
There's no arguing it. Towson University's debate team wins, claiming an historic win. They are the first all-black women's team to win the Cross-Examination Debate Association's national championship. This morning, we have two of the team members here. We have Amina Ruffin and Corey Johnson, both here to talk about the major victory. Ladies, way to go. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You've made so many people proud in this area. Now we want to pick your brain a little bit as we admire your huge trophy, by the way. That's ridiculous. But I'm going to ask you first. We'll start with you, Amina. What was the topic, first of all?
The topic was restricting presidential war powers authority.
They say the nigga's always already queer. That's exactly the point. It means that the impact is that is an impact turn to the affirmative. That it is a case turn to the affirmative because we are saying that queer bodies are not able to survive. That it necessarily means that the body of the nigga is not able to survive.
We got the topic in about July, and we started doing our research then.
And when the nigga sees these pains and suffering, that he can only envision himself, that he does not see another nigga that he can feel sympathy for or embrace, but rather that other
This is
gets
Dean
obliterated.
Wiggers.
We've been supplementing our research throughout the season.
Man, disfigured lynch and trauma enough. The insight, the trauma representation that central to the black child devouring and identifying with the stories and images the white culture brought up to think and act.
Why are they
like a white
doing
man, the
that?
black man.
What is
So
the
where do you go from
thing?
there? You know, when you start preparing for a national competition, once you know the topic, what's next?
Well, you do a lot of research.
Says that the way that the status quo works is through whiteness allowing, forcing other bodies to tell narrations of whiteness. And
Why do they always
the
say
whiteness
bodies?
dominant.
Why do they always do that? They're like
People go
black bodies, white bodies, or like they're like POC bodies,
I've
female body. You haven't heard that?
I've
They
never
always say
heard
they're like fat bodies. Like they'll say that. It's weird.
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
You haven't heard that? That's one of
No.
the things the leftists or like the woke people say is they're like oh, black bodies.
Someone said
like it's
our parents
get it.
auctioneers.
I was actually thinking right now.
Auctioneers in the hood, maybe.
I was wondering if someone texted me and said, "Can we just get those people out?" Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I kind of want to say
that
this.
about us?
No, it was about the speech and debate. Like I like it. Like you always think that I am where other people in the show are like talking about you. Like I'll just be like Gen Z, which is like 50 million people in our country. And it's like no, it's always like. So you're talking about me? Like I'm talking about 49,999,999 people. Not
Called
you.
a joke.
We're not allowed to do that on this show. It's illegal. Someone said, the Renegger said, Elijah got a broken leg from a bully. The best part is it was his mom. That's so sad. All right. Also, a couple things. We're going to go ahead and just head over to a little discussion here onto Rumble. Although I do want to put up a picture that this guy put
locals.
up. Onto locals. Thank you. You put up a picture here of what Africa looked like before black people took over. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just crazy. Zimbabwe literally is like trash. Have you ever seen, by the way, it's like absolutely insane. There's some historic buildings in Africa that were made in Morocco and some other countries that were made by the Portuguese. They're some of the oldest like civilized structures made in like 400, 500 AD. Now, obviously, they're like still intact, and like Africans like now have made them like mud huts, and they live in like burned fires, and they're like these like beautiful effigies and stuff, and they just like and you're like, and they have like stick paintings on the outside, and it's like the building you can tell was made by like incredibly gifted people, like 1,500 years ago, and now they like burn manure shit fires inside.
You know what we should
like,
do sometime on the show is just watch those third world walking tours of like Yemen.
I've seen them where like you just walk around like an Asian like the Philippines or something. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I was watching one a few weeks ago of Yemen, and it was just wild. Like there's just like kids with machine guns. It's crazy.
Look at this.
Can't believe that's crazy.
Look at this. Wait. I'm confused. Why is the U.S. literacy rate at 18%? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the U.S.
So Somali average IQ is 67. Haiti average IQ is 68. U.S. average is
Maybe they
100.
put the wrong one on there.
I think they put. I think they reversed it. I think they were supposed to say it's 18% literacy rate in Somalia. 40. I think
Wait,
they like
what?
reversed this.
What
Let me
are they
see.
even trying to say?
I don't know.
That's not true.
But also like that is lower IQ than a chimpanzee, I think, right? Isn't a chimpanzee like 70 or something? Or am I wrong? You're like, I think it's lower than a chimpanzee, right? Like a chimpanzee is able to like understand more complex operations than a Somalian, which is like actually not a joke. That's really crazy. That's really an offensive thing to say too.
Oh wow.
It's like it's actually very offensive and it's actually like rude and like very mean. And that's like, obviously people would say that that's rude, but nobody said that's untrue. And so it's like, it's the world is rude. And this whole like weird, this is like a very feminine thing where it's like, well, come on, can't we all just live together? You're like, dude, girls, you can't even be friends. Like I've never met two girls that are genuinely friends longer than 5 years. Like, I'm not even joking.
So that's a literacy rate, by the way. That means you can't read. So at the
Oh,
18%.
illiteracy. I was reading literacy.
we're actually,
I can't read.
We're actually quite illiterate.
Elijah can't read.
Well, to be completely honest here, I really can't read. Like, people know that from this show. Like, I'm not trying to be smart. I literally cannot. Like, I can't read anything on the screen. One of the things is, like, after years and years and years of like squinting and reading, you always be doing this
I feel
too.
so retarded now after like reading. I read it like 4 times over. I was like, what's wrong with this post? Like, there's something off. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
We're gonna have to kill ourselves. Just kidding. I'm totally joking. That was a total joke. In Minecraft, in a video game, right? Let's be clear on that one. I'm like totally over that one. We're never gonna promote killing yourself on the internet because that's not a good thing. But in video games, it's okay because it's a video game. Sometimes I've been on Rumble for too long that I'm just like, I forget. You too. I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot. You can't say that, or you have to correct yourself. Okay. Let's head over to Locals for a second. If you guys are on Locals, don't forget to check out what's going on there. Shout out to everyone on Rumble. I guess we have a pretty decent, pretty good size tonight of people that are there. I'm putting the Locals into here. I want to remind you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please actually subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching on Rumble, follow us here as well. But if you want to go to locals, you can just click that little red button on Rumble. It's like join, and you can join. It really helps us out a lot. I've been the last few shows, we have about 5 advertisers. I've only been putting 2 ads the last few shows because I've been trying to emphasize people to like join locals and subscribe. And I'm not trying to take up too much time with like extra things. And I'm really trying to like get people to join. And like, to be completely honest, it's like, yeah, if we're able to like get more people to join locals, we don't have to put as many ads in the show to fund operations. And as much as I really want this to grow, we have a couple new shows starting. Really excited about. We just finished agreeing to some contracts. Yeah, it's gotten pretty fun. We don't even have enough people to do what we need to do. Anna just came on, so that's really cool as well. Shout out to Anna, and hopefully soon she can be around to be on the show on a regular basis as well, because I think obviously you seem to enjoy being on camera here. You seem to enjoy being on the show, and I think people really like you. And I've always stated that I think you'd be a great regular daily contributor on the show. I think you have a you're a seasoned veteran like me. You've been around for like what, a decade now in the industry?
Well, you make me sound very old, but yes, something.
No,
like
a seasoned
that.
veteran, but like no,
No, a little less than a decade, but yeah, almost.
Yeah. But you started like very young.
Yeah.
So,
I
like
started
Sarah
when I was
or
like
whatever.
18.
Yeah.
19,
So I'm like, you started very young. And also like that's what people don't even realize too. Like it's like, I remember when I start the show, I'd be like, I'm 25 years old. My first show, and people are like, you're 25, like you're 40, and they've been saying that since I've been 25. So that's an unfortunate. People always said that you're only 25 years old. I'd be like, yes. I remember I'd be like, well, why aren't you married? I'm like, I'm 25-year-old man, and then I got married like 3 months later. But that's what I say.
The advice.
Well, that's what you should do when you get older. Don't date for a long time. Just get married. Just figure it out and get married, and just move on with your life. Go have kids quickly too. I waited too long because I was like, didn't know what I want to have kids like, and then I was like, one day I was like, you need to have children, and now I regret not starting earlier. But I'll tell you this, as a man, you have a lot of time to start having children. The women have the biological clock. I know a guy that just got married at 52 and had his first kid. So that's like true. I mean, it happens. Sometimes men aren't ready. And I also, there's who's that famous actor? Like 70 something and just had another kid.
Al Pacino.
Hugh Hefner?
Al Pacino? Is it Al Pacino?
Al Pacino.
Yeah, Al Pacino. Maybe Hugh Hefner too, but that's kind of crazy.
I think Hugh's gone. Didn't he pass?
Mark's Live said, yo, send $5 super chat shout out. And someone also said, Elijah sounds like a 15-year-old though. That's unfortunate. Is that a boy or a girl is the better thing. And appreciate you guys. Anyways, before we go over to locals, we like to plug our social media. It's in the description. Make sure you actually follow Sarah, you follow Anna, you follow Hennessy, and of course, I'll give Ed. Ed has some really good social media as well. Anna, how can people find and follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at wrongthinkanna_. Don't forget the underscore at the end. That's actually wrong. What's on the screen? It's wrong at wrongthinkanna and then underscore. So anyway, and then you can follow me on Instagram too. Didn't mean to call you out, but yeah. And then you can follow me on Instagram, Anna Perez, also Wrong Think Anna.
Someone said, be quiet. I follow no one but God. Anyway, also, someone had a question for Anna.
Based?
What hole do you put your wiener in for the baby to come out? Like, okay.
Wait, that was a question for me?
That was when you were talking.
I don't
It said,
think
but
Anna
wait.
has a wiener.
It
Yeah,
said,
I
but,
don't-
no, I was asking for him. It's a guy. It's a
Oh.
guy's name.
Wait, he just doesn't know.
He wanted to
about
know.
that.
I think he was just flirting with you in an autistic way. But anyway, I'm just reading the questions
Average
here.
Rift viewer, honestly.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
what
some of
was-
these comments.
Repeat the question. What was it?
You don't want to repeat.
You don't want to repeat it.
Oh, okay.
But someone said, someone, the Cheetah Man said, you put the peener in the bagooter. So that's like,
What does that even mean?
so
Okay.
that's like sounds like such a like Appalachian, like, you know what I mean? It's like, son, one day you're gonna put your peener in her
But
bagooter
someone
and a
said
child
Anna,
will come
Anna
out.
has a wiener confirmed.
This is so stupid.
All right. All right. And someone said, Elijah gave up the no women thing really quickly. No, women are not allowed to work in the office. It's like always been the rule. We've always had women on the show or been around.
Yeah, we don't work in the office. Like we just like show up.
Yeah, they don't work.
We don't work.
We don't work in the office.
Me
We
and
just
Joey,
take
we
naps
slave right
on the
over
couch
there.
in the office.
But yeah,
And
no,
then
they
we-
don't work.
And then we heat up the corn dogs in the supply room.
No,
I haven't
they don't
done
even,
that yet,
they don't even live here. They live in
No.
other states, but they're
Yeah.
just around. Anna's onboarding, and I was supposed to be in Australia today, as we know, and I'm not there. Sarah, how can people find and follow you?
Oh yeah, find and follow me on my social media on Instagram and on X. It's just Sarah Seastock. I've been lacking lately. I need to post a little bit more, but I'll be posting on there. And I'm actually gonna drop a YouTube video right after this one, an interview with Luke Radowski at SAS about the whole Epstein thing. And yeah, so you can watch that on my YouTube channel. It's just Sarah Stock. Find me there, subscribe, because I need to build up my subscribers. And I will be dropping like a lot of YouTube videos this week that I just have lined up. So definitely subscribe because you will be seeing those.
All right, go ahead.
All right, you can find me at snowflake_news. I'm on Instagram as well as X. Love for you to come check it out.
Okay, and also we'll go over right now to locals, but first, go ahead. Ed, you have some great pages people can follow.
Yes, if you want to follow me, just go to @DiedSuddenly_, and we're producing a new film called Died Suddenly Nanosapiens. Died Suddenly 2 Nanosapiens, ds2nano.com.
And I'm just going to continue then, say Sapiens, Nanosapiens, DS2334445, signing out. I was like, that was a lot of, I was like not tracking. I just like lightly heard over and it's like, Nanosapiens 236. I was like, what? Sounded like the Somalian mayor speaking for a second. I was like, what? Yeah, he's like, Winga Shawanga. Dude, I didn't know it was English, and I realized you were saying English words. Anyway, that was crazy right now. Because I was looking at this picture, which will show right now on locals, but you can only find it there. We'll take a quick break, and we'll see you over. We're looking at an IQ chart. We'll be right back.